Hey, hi, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I please don't think it's nothing important. Just coming in. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. Tomorrow is Monday, so tomorrow's when like officially the work begins. But I missed y'all. I missed going live. I was like, it's some stuff I wanted to go live about. It was a couple things I was like, I want to go live. I was going to go live yesterday, but a family member came over. Thank you. A family member came over and they were here. So yes, happy new year. Happy new year. Um they were here and we were just hanging out and stuff because I hadn't had anything planned. I am that thumbnail though, that's happening tomorrow. That's going to happen tomorrow because thank God tomorrow's the first day back to school. So that's going to happen tomorrow. And I'll have time and I'm gonna do the whole bit. I'm gonna put makeup on, I'm gonna do all the things. So that's gonna be fun. I cannot wait. The crazy part is, and I'm talking about with Natalie Nunn. I'm going to talk about Natalie Nunn on Cam Newton's podcast, and I started watching it because I kept seeing y'all watched it without me. I'm so upset. Y'all watched it without me. And so I kept seeing the clips and stuff. I'm like, okay, I kind of want to see this. And I kept forgetting, like I would be like, oh, I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it, and I would forget. So then I finally, was it yesterday? I think it was like yesterday morning. I was like, let me try to watch this. And I got maybe like, I don't even know if I made it 10 minutes in. I was like, wait, wait, wait. I gotta wait. I'm going to watch it. So I'm going to watch it for the first time on live tomorrow. And that's going to be funny because I was already like, when I, I was already cracking up. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to wait. So that's happening tomorrow. I was thinking about doing a live stream for the app today, but I'm making stew. Like I'm doing different things. My mind is not it's not free. So she said I'll watch it again. She wouldn't let up off it. I know I kept seeing clips of it and I was just like, ooh, I like that. I like how she's talking to him. I like it. And I just kept seeing. I saw this one clip. That's what really made me go. I have to watch this because it was a man, but he was the way he was laughing was so freaking funny. The way he was cracking up at it, I was just like, oh no, I gotta watch this. So that's when I turned it on, and I was like, yeah, I gotta watch it with everybody because I know people want to see. They would want to know the things that I probably have to say. So we gonna do that. But yeah, I was gonna do some work on the app today, but I'm still like trying to get stuff together to get back into the swing of things. So tomorrow I might do something with no, because I'm gonna do the whole bit. I'm gonna do my makeup and everything. Just start the year off right. I'm taking this seriously now. Oh, we're monetized. Yay! We are monetized. So that means that I have memberships. That means that, hey, Amethyst, that means I can do, y'all could do super chats. That means all the things. So that was very exciting. And that was really, honestly, it felt, I put meaning into everything. And after all of that stuff had happened with them other people coming to the channel, I was just like, okay, I'm not going to get big. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it. I'm here to do work. You know what I mean? Like I want to do the work and I want to help a lot of people and people have to know about it in order for me to help them. But at the same time, it's like I'm not chasing fame. I'm not chasing internet clout just to have it. And so, I always talk about how the walking that line, that razor thin edge of like how far is too far, or what are you willing to do to grow on here, and recognizing the way things work on here and stuff like that. So anyway, when I saw like how powerful, because I knew about it conceptually, but when I saw in action just how powerful, those mechanisms are in terms of triggering people and getting engagement off of that, it was just like I had a little bit more compassion for people who play into that, because it is like it's easy. However, I just was like, I know for a fact that that's not for me. Like, I don't want that. It didn't feel good in my body, and it wasn't, hey, welcome. It didn't feel good in my body. And it still wasn't me doing the work that I'm here to do. You know what I mean? Like, it would have taken over in a way. I can kind of see how people get caught in those traps of like, oh, well, this is what works, but this isn't necessarily what I intended on doing when I first started. You get what I'm saying? So I made a conscious decision that I'm going to stay the course of doing what I'm here to do in the way that I'm here to do it. And so anyway, literally that next night, after having that sit down with myself, that was when I got the email of like, hey, you want to join the monetization program? So it was like, for me, it felt like a confirmation and a good job. You know what I mean? And like you passed the test kind of thing. And so that was really exciting for me. I'm really happy about it and excited about it and like invigorated. Amethyst said, it's good you're building a solid foundation so that when you do take off, you'll be well positioned and make the moves you want. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like I've said it so many times. I've seen creators on here that just don't seem happy. And not even just that, because even I'm noticing that a lot of the creators that inspired me to want to do this are leaving the platform. And I'm talking about just video essayists and stuff like that. They're leaving the platform. I haven't seen what's that child name? Kimberly Foster in God knows how long. Like she just kind of quiet quit. You know what I mean? So it's like there's definitely a shift. Even though, so D'Angelo Wallace is back. He just came back, or I don't know if I think he's he just came back, and he takes, I don't know if y'all know him or not, and he's way younger, so y'all might not, but he was very, very popular, in like the 2015, 16 and all that. He had built like over 1 million, and then he disappeared for like a year. And then he came back and he was doing some things, and then he disappeared for like another, you know what I mean? So just seeing how the people who I view as successful, and who I respect a lot, seeing how they're like struggling with trying to be integral and enjoy what they're doing and not getting caught up in drudgery or chasing algorithms and things like that. There's this other channel that I watch called Action Kid. It's just a guy, he's an Asian guy. It's just a guy that walks around. He lived in New York City for a few years, so he would just walk around New York City. He go on trips and stuff and just walk around and just take, the camera is the first person view of the walk. And I just would like to have that stuff on like while I worked and just have some noise and get to see other places. And so anyway, he was explaining how his channel is starting to decline because that type of content is going around. So he's got to make some shifts and stuff too. So we're in a time of flux. But like I said, I was just happy that my decision to remain true to myself and I guess do it the hard way was still paying off. And like it let me know like it's all right. It's not going to be as hard as you think it is. The hardest part is over. I got started. I have built something, and that's something else too. Like I feel like I got a kind of validation that take a weight off of my shoulder, and I feel kind of like I've arrived in a certain sense, because for me, I'm realizing that I wasn't taking content creation seriously because I felt like it wasn't serious. You know what? Like I felt I was kind of like being that own voice in my head that's saying like, girl, you just playing around and you really should be doing other things with your time. You know what I mean? And I tried to do it in a way that felt meaningful. You know what I mean? That wasn't just like, oh, I'm chasing clout or I'm chasing fame, I'm chasing money, whatever like that. Like I did it in a way that was like, well, if and when everything is said and done, I left a body of work that was impactful, that meant something, that wasn't just um ornamental. And so when that happened and it hit me like, okay, you did the thing, you accomplished it. And not just here on YouTube, but like even in my life. I remember getting started with Level Up Single Mom even before I did a YouTube, but with writing my book and stuff, and like within my family having certain people be a certain way about it. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's what you do, and then it's a viable thing and it's a real thing. And like, oh, like it's like I know that a part of that is because I take it seriously, because I've been putting in the work and I've been making the connections and I've been doing all the things. And so now, because it's real for me, I'm showing up with a posture that's like, oh, yeah, you're going to take me seriously. You're going to give me my respect. And it just is what it is. And so I'm really excited about that. I also think, I also decided too that I'm going to try to revive my vitamin key channel, which was the first. It wasn't a channel per se. Like I had made a few videos, but I wasn't really actively pursuing content creation. It was just my YouTube. You know what I mean? Like you got to log into YouTube with something. So that was just my email, and then that was my YouTube, and I started interacting on here from that YouTube profile. So that's how y'all know me as Vitamin Key. But I had thought about trying to like diversify my content creation. Oh, good. You know D'Angelo? Okay. I thought about trying to diversify my content creation into like this stuff, because I'm real strict about Level Up Single Mom and what we're doing here and the messaging and how we talk about things and stuff like that. But think I don't think I know from talking to some of y'all, there are things that y'all would want me to talk about, and or conversations that like part of what I struggle with is trying to make those subjects and those conversations relevant to Level Up Single Mom. So what I'm saying is, if I do it on Vitamin Key, I can just talk about it. This is just what I'm interested in. You know what I mean? There's no pressure for me to try to intellectualize it or extract any kind of meaning from it. Like we can just talk and shoot the shit. So I'm going to be doing that. I don't know exactly when I'm gonna get that started, but I'll probably, honestly, and I don't even think I'm going to like. I don't know if I'm going to like try to push it here. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, come join me over there. I think now that I've done it, I'm like, okay, let me see if I can replicate that. I'm just a curious person like that, and I like mastering things. So now it's like, okay, can I build that? Let me see if I can build that channel, in its own right, is what I'm saying. So I'll be doing some more of that, because there's certain things that are just random irreverent things that I'm interested in, and y'all know when I'm in the discords and stuff, I'll be going down rabbit holes and stuff. So it's just fun. You know what I like? Just fun. I feel like I've earned the right to just have fun on social media now. I don't know, you probably like, girl, you could have been did it, but that's just how I am. So yeah, that is bad. That is that. What else is going on? I don't think I'm going to go to school this spring. I never go to school in the summer because the baby's out of school. But I think because remember I was saying I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to school in the fall, and I went. And I think that the feeling I was feeling was I knew all of this was coming, because I want to spend time like devoting myself to building this out. With everything that's going on, I think it would just behoove me to lock in and do what I can do here. So yeah, there's that. What else? Oh, we went to DC. Me, my daughter, my cousin. We went to DC to see the African American Museum. Let me see. No, see, because I be taking screenshots and stuff on Twitter and I can't show everything. I wanted to show you. I'm going to make a video. Like I have little clips and stuff. So I'm going to make like a little mini vlog um about that. Uh I now and mind you, I went and I came back and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do all this content, and then I didn't do anything. So let me tell you what happened. You know, I was doing the content, I was doing the videos and stuff. We were doing the app thing. Then all that stuff happened with those men coming over here. And I was like, okay, for one, I don't want, like, if they were still lurking around, I didn't want them, latching on to any of my other stuff. Cause, sometimes people get real weird and crazy on here when they get, hey, Alicia. I saw Alicia in DC. But people get really weird. It was amazing. I want to go back. I've made a plan in my mind. We have to figure out, because it was me, my daughter, my youngest daughter, and my cousin. I'd like to be able to get my grandmom up there because I know she would want to see it. I just wanted to get in there, before we don't know, but he's been doing so many things with the monuments there, and the different things and changing everything. So I was like, let me get in there before he gets his grubby little hands on anything. So we went there and I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, I would say I didn't want any of the weirdos, knowing what was going on and then trying to come and infiltrate and do anything. So I was like, let me chill on that. Let me let that die down. Then I got sick. And I was just sick. Then I got better like a few days later, but I forgot it's Christmas time and I had a kid. And so I had like all these things that I had to do that I was like, oh, yeah, I kind of need to like get this stuff done. So I just was like, you know what? And then we had the trip coming up, like it was already planned. So I was just like, let me just focus on getting through the holiday season and then I'll come back and we can do stuff. Cause like I said, I already made like I was supposed to say lesson plans. I already made content plans and everything like that. So I have a nice little framework of stuff that I want to do. And so yeah, but now that we are safely on the other side of the new year, holiday season is over, I just felt compelled to come back and touch base with you all. Hey, Ami. Um, yeah. So what is going on? Oh, also, because this is informal. This is literally just me up here saying hi, saying what's up or whatever. So if anyone wants to come up, no pressure as usual. But if anybody wants to come up, you could come up and we could just talk. Also, whatever you want me to, this is people's choice. It's a celebration. It's a celebration. We're monetizing everything so we can celebrate that as well. I didn't remember that until I came back on. So if anybody wants me to talk about anything specific, ask me any kind of questions, whatever, it's just we're just hanging out. We're just hanging out. So yeah. Yes. Oh, it would let me tell you something. Alicia is such a light. And I just am so grateful and happy. Like it's just I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying not to cry. I feel so blessed. And when I sit and I think about, starting from 2020, from COVID, the lockdown to here. And I sit back and I think about like all the work I've been putting in. And I don't mean like, oh, I've been working so hard, but it wasn't. That's the thing. It wasn't hard. It was the kind of work I wanted to be doing. It has been so affirming of like following that path. Like I was talking about earlier, how I feel like, hi, Cannon Hill. I'm going to bring you up in 1 second. I was talking about how I feel like my posture has changed about what it is that I do. And so therefore the way I'm treated has changed in terms of like people I know and my family and things like that. And I recognized that like that was something I had to do to feel anchored in this existence. This is what I wanted, and I didn't necessarily feel it was real, and now it is real, and I'm just like experiencing all that. And I say that to say, Alicia, you being my friend is one of the most wonderful things that has come from all this, and it makes me feel so safe and at home, and it's comforting, and it's affirming, and it feels it feels like a what's that called, a reward. It feels like a reward, so I wanted you to know that. um I had a lovely time talking with you. I'm so glad you got to meet my cousin, my Emmy winning cousin. I'm so glad. I know. I wish. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we gotta get together again. We gotta get together again. We gotta figure out how to make that happen. So yeah, that's that. So yeah. Sorry. Who is it? Hi, Cannon Hill.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. How are you?
I'm
Welcome.
good. I'm good. I thought that was very sweet. That was very sweet. I like sometimes when we able to show some vulnerability.
Oh, thank you so much. Girl, I'll be crying over here all the time. Don't make me up in here crying about everything. I just feeling, feeling. And I know that's part of the reason of what's going on in the world and like why everything is so messed up, because feeling is a lot. Whether it's good feelings, bad feelings, feeling is a lot.
Well, I always say it's nothing wrong with, I mean, feelings are important, right? It's
Mm.
actions,
Yeah. No,
that's more,
absolutely.
yeah. So, and I feel like a lot of times people have a hard time separating the two, like
Mhm.
feelings are fine, but what are you doing? Like, what are the actions? Like, what are you doing as
Right.
a result of those feelings?
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm grateful to have you here though.
Yeah, I just, I've seen some of your content in passing and I've heard some of your ideas and different things like that. And I just wanted to say I do see how it can be very difficult trying to figure out how to navigate some of these social media spaces and like building up platforms and also trying to balance your safety, right? Because you still and you have like a child and you can't, you know, I don't know. It's just weird to
It's
try to figure out how
it's
to
so much.
prioritize that. Yeah, yeah.
And the thing is, my when I conceptualize this, like I was crying the other day, and I was talking to Leslie. Some of us in here we're in community with her. We know concerned,
Hmm.
and I was saying to her like how I realized that the platform really is what I was needing when I first had my oldest daughter. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And realizing like I became the person I needed.
Hmm.
And a big
I like
part of
that. I like
that,
that.
a big
Hmm.
part of that is safety.
Hmm.
And mind you, I wasn't setting out like, oh yes, I'm gonna be the savior. I came and looking for people, the people that
Yeah,
were already
yeah.
talking. And I was
Yep.
like, okay, I don't feel safe here, or this feels
Hmm.
incomplete, or this
Hmm.
is just stuck in one aspect of, the healing process. There was so many things. It was like, okay, I feel like I want a little bit more of this and a little bit less of
Hmm.
that. And so when I go around, like a lot of the people that are here, like my base people that have been rocking with me forever, we talk about how we were in different spaces and we came together because it was like we were drawn to the women there, even if it wasn't a women centered space or a
Hmm.
women led space. We were drawn to the women there. And so I'm on social media and I see so many smart women and so many clever women and so many witty women and women, good researchers, and
Hmm.
just using all these things. But we spending all this time debating men,
Oh my
arguing with
God.
men, embarrassing men. And don't get me wrong. Oh, I love it. But that's
Yeah,
the problem.
I mean, but the thing is you're like you're right, right? But it's because it's such a male centered and dominated society. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh God, can we just, and like you say, I do like people who say the things about decentering men,
Hmm.
but yeah, it and it's so odd that that's a radical concept. You know what I mean? Like, how do we decenter them? It's something that takes like active practice to do because we're socialized in such a way that that's just a normal, it's a normal behavior. Like, think about it, like our, a lot of times our entire value as women is tied to our desirability to men, right? So it's like, and we don't know that we were socialized that way from birth. You know what I mean? It's not something until you come into a certain level of awareness and you look around and you're like, oh my, like, why are we doing this? Like, what is going
Right,
on?
right. That's the question. Like, why are we just, wait a minute. What am I doing? Wait, how did I get here? It,
Yes.
it is so easy to slip into it. And like, I spend some time on Twitter because Twitter has some interesting conversations or things that go on. And I saw this one person was saying, like, what did she say? Let me check my phone and see what it was. Because it was something about, it was something about, she said, I'm seeing people say, well, why would I want to think about something bad when they're talking about the there's a trend. I saw it on TikTok where they're like, I said I would never be a single mother, but
Hmm.
here I am. And she's
Yeah.
saying, like, basically, how would you be having a child and not ever conceptualize that you might be a single mother? And I'm saying to her,
Right.
like, I never even had a negative viewpoint on at least not
Right.
consciously.
Right.
But as soon as I realized I was having a baby,
Hmm.
all of this insecurity and all of these things, I'm trying to perform femininity, I'm
Hmm.
trying to figure out how I'm going to still be desirable. I'm trying to get a man in the home, I'm trying to get her
Hmm.
father in the home. I'm doing all of these things that put me in a lot of bad situations
Hmm.
due to this insecurity that I didn't even know was there, because I
And
was walking through life like, yes, women are great and mothers are great and single mothers are fine, and that was
but do you know what's so nefarious about that too? Is that, and then just like you said, you're doing all of these things, but I say like the mass gaslight is then like you're blamed for all of these choices,
Mhm.
even though you're socialized into them. You know what I mean? It's like you darned if you do, darned if you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like like it literally does not matter. Like that's what I've been seeing more and more as I've been like navigating a lot of different things, and I'm
Mhm.
like, this is not what stood out the most to me, because I am just recently went through a divorce in September. No, congratulations. Just say
Yeah, no,
congratulations.
no, no.
But so and I mean, I have like, my children are so far apart in age. So my son is 23 and then my daughter is 8. So basically,
Okay.
guess you can
Mhm.
say I'm now a single mom twice, like 2 different times, I guess, because
Mhm.
my son is an adult now.
Yeah.
But and navigating that space, or navigating this particular situation, what I've realized is that we are socialized and kind of corralled into certain decisions
Mhm.
and then blamed for them. Like,
Yes.
why didn't you know? Like, why would you do that? And you just look around like, what? Like, it's like when you again, like, since a lot of, and then a lot of people don't operate at a certain level of self-awareness, and there's a lot of cognitive dissonance, right? So people say one thing but the behaviors are totally different, and then again, like, I mean, it socializes you into certain decisions and thought processes, and then people just act like you are making these choices in a vacuum, like you are just somehow deficient on your own, like
Mhm.
you know what I'm
I
saying,
say
like,
I say all the time, you're not singularly flawed, because
yeah, yeah.
when mind you, and the real mind fuck about it. I don't know if the baby is around. I'm sorry.
No, 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 she's not.
Okay. The real mind fuck about it is that it was the time in my life where I was being like hyper accountable and
Mhm.
internalizing all of that stuff,
Oh,
was when I
yeah.
was making the worst decisions. It was
Mhm.
because I was desperate, because I felt
Mhm.
like I needed external validation. I felt like I needed somebody to save me, or
Mhm.
to clean me up. You know what I mean? To make a
Yeah,
woman
yeah.
out of me, type of thing. Like, I
Yes.
didn't feel self sufficient just
Mhm.
generally. And so therefore I was doing all this stuff to try to overcompensate. It wasn't until I was like, you know what? Call it what you want to call it. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Like I'm just going to do what feels right for me. That
Mhm.
was when I was able to start making headway and making strides and making impact. And you know, like so
Mhm.
it's like can't nobody tell me nothing.
Yes, yes. I think it's once you get to that place. I think it's layers to that too. But I think once you get to that place, that is when, because you start to realize, first of all, everybody is going to make the decisions that's best for them,
Yeah.
right? And then a lot of people, sometimes they haven't experienced the things that you experienced,
Yeah.
or people don't know how they will react or what they would do in those circumstances. So people talk about things a lot of times from a space of where they are at the moment, but it's like
Mhm.
you can't, like, I mean, they can have empathy, but it's like you really can't describe. Like, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. Like, I hear a lot of people that will say, well, if that were me, I would do X, Y, Z. But it's like they ignore the context of, like, yes, you who you are now who hasn't experienced this thing, right? But like, if we talk about DV, for instance, right, or abuse. Like I hear a lot of people say, they're like, "Well, I wouldn't have stayed for this," and da 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 da. But it's like, yes, because you don't have the back, like you haven't been slow burned into it. So of course you would, like, right, like who would eyes wide open looking at the entire situation do X Y Z? So it's like you can't even access what that's like in the middle of it, right? Because you're not experiencing that. So you are who you are, barring that experience. But you don't know who you would be having that experience. You know what I'm saying? So it's just,
Absolutely. And I was talking to somebody recently and I was saying because like so one of the things the transitions that I've been through like on my journey is before I got pregnant, I was very much so just break up with them. Just leave them. Like
yep, yep.
why are we
Why,
even
why,
going
yeah,
through all
like,
this rigmarole? Just leave them, right? Then I got pregnant and I experienced firsthand like that that circuit what's it called, short circuiting of programming versus
mm-hmm.
what I know to be true logically, what I'm
Yes,
feeling, all of the inconsistencies or whatever, and the struggle within that, right? Then when I came out of it, I'm back to okay, I don't have time. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
doing this work here, and that's another reason why I've been, very slowly baby crawling my way through building this platform is because it can because of the stuff I was saying about social media and how it runs, it can be really
Mm-hmm.
easy to slip into, oh yes, I know everything, and you need
Yep,
to just do exactly what I
yep,
say, and I don't have to have empathy for you because
yes.
I've transcended what you, and it's like me having to check myself and go, okay, this space number one is not about me specifically. It's about me, but it's not about me. I'm not doing it
Mhm.
just for me. So I
Yep.
have to be mindful of who's coming and the different phases and things people are at, the different levels of understanding for whatever reason and navigating that. But it does get hurtful. This is the conversation I was having with my friend. It does get hurtful sometimes when you're coming and they're like, "Oh, you're being judgmental or whatever," because they're uncomfortable with
Mm-hmm.
what you're, reflecting back to them. I mean, and we all have to do that. Like, there's no right answer right now. You know what I mean? Because we're all kind of unpacking this stuff. We're all figuring it out. It's always, but what I'm coming to realize is it's always
Is there?
going
Hold on,
to
I'm sorry, I
be.
don't mean to interrupt. Is there static on your end, or is this my end, or do you hear any static?
Sometimes I hear static on you, not
Okay.
all the time, but sometimes.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I had to recognize that like coming into the space and being new coming into, I guess I would be considered BWE, but coming into it like you I don't have to feel like I need to be the loudest, and I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
feel like just because I exist other people shouldn't exist. And so now my mindset is on, okay, how do I exist in this space that I exist and support women transitioning, whether they're going this way, whether they're coming this way. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I want to exist in a space where I recognize this is not the last stop for you, and this is a place where you can get your fill so that you can go on the next leg of your journey wherever that takes you.
I like that. No, I really really like that, and I think that for me it's just been um exercising radical empathy, right? But
Mm-hmm.
also redirecting that empathy, because I do think a lot of times when we talk about low self esteem and all these other things, I think sometimes we confuse that with some things that are considered our strengths, right? Like I think sometimes we underestimate the way sometimes our strengths can be exploited, and we view them as low self esteem when they're actually maybe we have high integrity, or maybe we have a lot of empathy,
Yes.
and things that
Mm-hmm.
people are able to exploit in that way, and we misunderstand it as like low self esteem. And so sometimes when people talk about things in a certain way, it won't apply to you. Like, I don't have low self esteem, and you may not have low self esteem, right? You like, you know what I mean? It's like
Girl, oh,
that's
you're
not what
just
it is.
over. You're so emotional.
Yeah, like, and like you can be too understanding, right? Like understanding to a fault, right? Like you can be a very highly self-aware person where you give other people a lot of grace because you can understand them. But
Mhm.
you, again, because of our socialization, especially as women and especially as black women, I think sometimes we don't put together with, like, yeah, I can understand something clearly and I can have empathy for you, but you can't harm me. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like that's like that is the
Girl.
radical part. You
That
know?
is the thing, and those are that's when you have people looking at you like, "Are you a witch?"
Yeah.
Because they're used to they perceive, you know, quiet and stillness as
Hmm.
weakness, and it's like,
Yes.
and that's why talk. I don't spend a lot of time around men,
Hmm.
because that is the and to what you were saying earlier when you were talking about how these contradictions of like how they want you to be available and
Hmm.
interact, but then they will vilify you and scrutinize you when it
Hmm.
goes wrong. You want women to be soft and submissive, but when women are soft and submissive, you abuse that, and then you tell them that their natural human reactions to protect themselves or to defend themselves or whatever are unnatural. You
Hmm.
never get to address what you did, you know, to invoke that in a person. And so for me, recognizing that like this is the dynamic, that these men
Hmm.
feel they want to provoke you to anger, or they want to provoke you to feeling unsafe, they want to provoke you into
To
to
being to seeming
anxiety.
mentally unstable. Yeah.
Yes, into
Yeah.
anxiety, into,
Hmm.
you know, rage, into all of these things, and then they want to gaslight you. It's like, I don't want to feel like that. I want to be able to be in homeostasis within my
Yes.
body. So me recognizing that being around men, if I can't be in homeostasis around you, it's a
Then
done deal.
I just don't need it. And I think to take that a step further, it's because I think so much of the way we discuss relationships generally is from, again, a very personal perspective where people like to personalize it.
Mhm.
But I think that it's super important to understand, just like you just stated, that they will want you to do one thing and then they'll criticize you for this, and all of that is part of the same system, right? It's like once you recognize that it's a system of control that is not even necessarily a personal one, but a systemic, structural, and
Yes,
societal one,
yes.
then you're like, oh, okay, well, this makes perfect sense. Like it, because at first it's very confusing to you when you don't understand it,
You
right?
did
Because
this, you.
yeah,
You
because
think like, oh, it's
you're
me.
like, this doesn't
I'm
make
just
any sense.
doing it wrong, or I'm a bad woman. I'm not a good woman. I'm not good at
Yeah.
womanhood. I'm not feminine
You're like, I'm
enough.
missing something. Like this is because this is not making any sense. But then when you understand that it's the feature and not the bug, then you're like, oh, total sense. Okay, so I can just all right, I can just throw all this out.
So I
Okay,
can
I'm good.
opt out. Because that was me. I was like, oh, I can
Yes.
just opt, no problem. You're telling, oh, this is how it's supposed to
Yeah.
be. That's the problem. Okay, okay,
No, yes,
okay.
that is, and that I've been experiencing that's so funny to me is that, again, like, oh, and then you get, And once you come to that realization, you have to be prepared to be, you're going to be bitter, right? You're going to be, well, you're going to be framed as bitter, right? You're
Yeah.
going to be framed as, like you say, closed off and jaded and like all of these things.
Misandrist.
Yeah, right, exactly. Instead of being enlightened, which you are, you're like, oh, I see the system and the structure. I just don't want to participate. It's like, well, why
Yeah,
are you
it's
so
just not for
bitter?
me.
It's like,
It's not
what?
for
I'm bitter.
me.
Like, when did I become that? So it's like, even from like some friend, like people who mean well, right? Like they're like, you don't want to get closed off and you want to do. I say, I'm looking at y'all like, I don't understand why y'all keep doing it. Like, this is not making sense to me. It just
Like,
doesn't make
girl,
sense to me.
when's the
Like,
last time you checked your blood pressure?
like, no, seriously, it's like,
You
no, like
told
I've
me you're
always been
having heart palpitations. You're not
it's
paying attention to what's
correct,
going
correct.
on.
No, seriously, it's like I've just always been a very logical person. So to me, that's just a logical conclusion, right? Where it's like, oh, these things are happening. This is purposely perpetuated in order to navigate the space. You now
But
have to be on
even
guard,
just what
figuring
you
it out.
said,
Doing, I'm not doing all of that.
even just what you said, I'm a logical person. And this is what we got to realize is, again, that dance of destabilizing your nervous system, of
Hmm.
making you feel like you're just all over the place or whatever. That's a part of then saying, oh, well, women are just like that. We're
Hmm.
not.
Hmm.
Women are highly perceptive.
Hmm.
Women are highly logical, and we're logical. And I've said it here before, logic is subjective to your objective. Women are
Hmm.
logical in ways that can take care of vast amounts of people beyond themselves, because
Hmm.
we've been socialized to do so. So that's why they say this whole thing of like, oh, when you take care of a woman properly, and that's true. Like, when a woman, I'm not going to do it in the framework of, oh, you have to have a man
Yeah,
around,
yeah,
but
yeah.
when your environment is conducive to just letting your brain work on the things that are important to you, and it's
Hmm.
community and family, and taking care of others is important to you, when you're not stressed out, when you're in homeostasis, and your mind can just go to the places that it naturally goes, you're going to be really effective
Hmm.
at handling all the things that need to be handled, and doing it with style, doing it with grace. Everybody's happy, we're having a good
Hmm.
time. That's why they hated the concept of black girl magic,
Hmm.
because that's what that is. It's just that thing of like, oh, you know what, these are the things that are important to me. These are the things that I would like. These are the things that I want. And I'm able to energetically calibrate to get it all done.
Yeah, and I mean, it's survival, right? Like we that's what I also think. Again, everything is flipped around. This is why I say it's not just interpersonal, it's systemic, correct? Because it's like
Yeah.
you will have personal conversations in a relationship dynamic where where the things are, the roles are flipped in the conversation and it's not making any sense to you. But that also happens on a societal level. Like you said, where look at the entire concept. Like you said, women are just so illogical and they're emotional and men are so, and it's like, that's literally not even the truth. Like women cannot afford to just be walking around here acting out of emotion. Like we would not be alive if we were doing that. Men act out of emotion way more because like they're allowed to do it. And it's
And
like,
then even because I remember I had a friend of mine, and it just that thing of like gendering things is so
yes,
damaging to both people, no matter
yes,
what way you're putting. Now, mind you, I'll
yes.
say like this is man team or whatever, because this is what men
Hmm.
are saying manhood is about. So when I say,
Yes,
oh, this is man stuff, I'm going off of stuff they said
yes,
is about
yes,
manhood, right?
yes.
But people are really walking around like, oh, a man is this and a woman is this, and this is feminine and this is
And it's all
masculine, and they're saying
arbitrary
these things in the
construct.
negative. And they're saying these things in the negative. So if women are bad and men are bad, who's good?
Right. Correct. Correct. Or even if you could just so neatly apply people into these labels and boxes. Right. Like I think people just like to take what they consider to be like the path of least resistance, right? Like they just want the simplest explanation, and like there's nothing in life that's it's all complex, and people just they don't want, people don't want the complexity, they don't want the gray area, they don't want the you know what I'm saying, the
And
not
not just
knowing.
that, they want to be able to do harm with impunity, because a lot of their stuff is about, oh, well, because this is inherently male, then we shouldn't even be trying to expect people to do away with it. Because this is inherently male, there's nothing that can be done. And actually, you're the one violating laws and laws of nature and everything else because you're expecting it to be different. You should expect a man to cheat on a woman. You should expect a man to be violent and rough. You should expect a man to not do any housework or anything. You should expect as a woman to just handle all of and be a concierge to the whims and aspirations of a man.
And this is what I mean that's so insane about that. Like, think about all the things that you just said, right? And then when you have these types of experiences, what do they turn around and tell you? Well, you chose them.
Exactly. That's what
Like,
like
so
it's
it doesn't make sense.
so
Like, the society is telling you that men generally are these things. And then when you like, oh, these are the things I'm experiencing, they're like,
why
well,
did you
that's your
accept it?
fault. It's like, what? No, they
Love
didn't say you
yourself.
accept it.
Love you. You didn't love yourself. You didn't value yourself.
They say, well, you
And
chose that.
furthermore, this is the part that really trips me out because you didn't value yourself. It's okay that this person, because me, I cannot value myself. I could think I'm the lowest of the low. I don't
Yeah.
deserve anything, whatever. That's me, self contained, right? You coming in and going, yeah, okay, she doesn't think she deserves anything. So I am now going to treat her in a
Exploited.
less than humane way. That's you. That has nothing to do with me. That's a personal choice because it could have
Yeah.
been me, it could have been somebody else. That's still you. So these ideas of like, oh, but it makes sense. It's rational. It makes sense for me to see you in a vulnerable position and to exploit it. Those are the things where I'm just like, yeah, I don't have patience. I don't have tolerance. It's not going to happen here, around me, not on my
So
watch.
bitter now. Like, why would you be this bitter? Like, what's wrong with you? Being all bitter and stuff. Like
That's why I said, like, look, it's bright and shiny over here. I don't know if you were here a couple weeks ago. Some dust blew in here,
oh
and I
Lord.
had to let them know, like, I don't care about what y'all think. I don't need your engagement. I don't want, like I shut it down as much as possible. But I'm just like, I can't. Like I personally, I cannot. And there are some women who thrive off of that and they enjoy it. There are some women who think there's no way to not deal with it. What like I said, my homeostasis is important to me. And
Well, it's a continuation of emotional labor. Because, like you said, they come here because they thrive off of your attention, right? And
yeah,
they want to recenter themselves again. They're like, oh, it's a woman over
yeah,
here
and
doing something. Look at
it
me.
when you see it, that's the funny part about it. When you actually start seeing these things, people are saying that your stuff is choppy. It is choppy on my end, but I can still make out what you're saying. I don't know
Okay.
what we can do about that, but I was just letting you know.
I'll try. How about I try to hop out and then come back in? Because I don't know. Because it's
Okay.
kind of doing some weird stuff. So you
Okay.
just keep talking. I'll hop out and come back in.
No problem. But I was saying the thing is when you see that stuff and when you start seeing it, it is one of those things of like, and that is why I felt like I could watch Natalie Nunn on Cam Newton because I do think it's very important to highlight um how these things actually work. We have conceptual conversations about these things, but I do think it's important to see how these things work. And I was in a a TikTok live earlier today where there was a man up there and he was doing the thing. He was tit for tatting. He was doing what is that called? Technicalities. He was doing that gas and his name literally was Gaslight spelled out. So there's that. But and women in the audience were getting, oh now you're going, I'll see you. Women in the audience were getting upset and triggered and they were just like drop him, drop him, drop him, and the woman was like no, we need to see it or whatever. And I will say as a content watcher, I don't always know if people are genuinely feeling like they're helping or if they're just, like I said, playing into the algorithm. You know what I mean? Like you never know. But it did hit me, like I said, that at the end of the day, that's their right to do it. And my work in noticing that is again to promote this space to let women know, okay, well, if you're looking for a space where you don't have to endure that just to be around the women you want to be around, That's this space. You know what I mean? Like, women, if women want to show, if they want to highlight how this stuff works, they do it. I'm building an environment. Like I said, what I think the questions we need to start asking, and that's my work to like answer is, okay, what does it look like when we get beyond the realization of we need to decenter men? What does that look like? You know what I mean? Like, what does it look like a world where we don't necessarily have to be interacting with these men, even in these conversations? And that is, I can do that. I can provide that. You know what I mean? And no shade to nobody else. It's not about trying to say, well, I'm better and they're wrong and this and that and the other. It's not about pitting us against each other. It's just about, like I said, this is the space I inhabit on the journey. And you can come from any direction you coming from, but this is what we do here. So yeah. Let me see what y'all talking about. Okay, no problem. It said, I'm saying, I saw a clip the other day that said haters equal money for creators. I'm not a creator, but every time I see a hate comment, I clap for my creator getting it. Yeah, and like I said, me having that experience of actually seeing how like lucrative, it wasn't even lucrative because I wasn't monetized at that point, but I'm like, it was clearly a fork in the road. You know what I mean? Of like, okay, you could just lean on this even a little bit. You could lean on this and get, and apparently it did kind of push me where I needed to be to get monetized or whatever, right? But she said, I'll say it with my whole chest, we are better. And you know what? And that's your right. And that's your right to feel how you feel. Um, but yeah, it's first of all, I'm gonna take a big major step back, right? It's really sad that we are in a position where the powers that be, because at the end of the day, like, I feel like we're in Monsters Inc. You know what I mean? And it's before Mike and Sully are in charge, where they still want to go for the screams. You get what I'm saying? Because they're like, oh yeah, there's money in scream. We got to get these screams. We got to get these screams, right? And it's like, some of us are aware the laughter is more powerful. Some of us are aware that the laughter isn't as taxing. Some of us are aware that the laughter is will be better for everyone long term, and everybody will have what they need, and all of those things. But there are still those people in the world that thrive with this idea of scarcity. And unfortunately, those are the people in charge right now. You know what I mean? So I'm saying all that to say, um, it's sad to see sometimes. Like, it's just sad to see. It's sad to watch. It's sad to experience, and it's also sad as someone who wants to do content creation and wants to put good things out into the world, to feel like there are forces, I won't say they're working against me per se, but that they're not as been they're not as helpful for me in what I'm trying to do specifically as they are for people who are just like, hey, yeah, whatever, let's just do the things, right? So thank you. Yeah, laughter is healing. Laughter is healing. Peace is healing. Just be safety. And I'm gonna let y'all peek behind the curtain a little bit with me, right? So I've been noticing myself drifting more towards like romantic music, and I'm noticing myself starting to have desire for maybe like romance or romantic things. But you know me, I don't just go with the impulse. I'm kind of like, okay, what's behind this thing? And so I wound up doing some what do we call shadow work? I didn't feel like it was shadow work, but just like some introspection of like, okay, what is behind this? What am I feeling and everything like that? And what I got to was a sadness, because I felt like I wanted to experience, I believe thoroughly that I'm not safe. Like I said about not being able to be in homeostasis. That's been my experience. Oh, the baby.
This is the only picture I had on my computer. I'm like,
She's gorgeous. Look at her. I haven't been able to experience uh safety, around men. And it
Mhm.
was like, that's sad. I would like to, or I have, because there's some men here, whatever, that I feel generally safe around, but just in men that I've gotten close to past a certain point, and I'm not even just talking about like romantically or
Romantically, right.
sexually. Yeah, like, but
Mhm.
like it's like, okay, you can like men and be cool and have a nice rapport with a man, but anytime
Mhm.
I've been like, okay, we're just hanging out, when they get comfortable, it's just like, oh my God.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so there was a sadness in that. And so I'm like, okay, I got to a point where I recognized the desire was, I would love to be able to just feel safe around men, point blank, period. And not all men, but you know what I mean? Like a
No, I
man
know,
or a few
and
men.
it's sad that you even have to make that caveat, right? And that's kind
Yeah.
of what I mean about I feel it's literally a mass gaslight because
Mhm.
everyone says the same things. Like even men don't trust men. Like even men will be like, men are da da da. And then when
Right.
you
Like men
explain it,
don't feel
they're like,
safe
what are you
around men.
talking about? Not all men. Why are you acting like that? It's like, what? You just said the
Like
same thing.
you like, come on. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it was just like, I wish that I could just relax.
Yeah.
Even like I would have just be able to relax around it, but it's like I am hyper vigilant around, not even hyper vigilant, it's like I'm hyper aware. That's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. I'm not hyper vigilant because I'm always looking for, like I had to tell everybody here, I need to see positive to be able to block out the negative,
Well,
right?
your level of tolerance has probably also shifted,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I have no
So it's just
tolerance.
yeah,
I
so it's just
my
way lower, and
I
because
can't
yeah,
do it.
like that's what I mean. Like things where you may have just overlooked them or just been like, whatever. It's like no,
Yeah,
it's like the bar like
that's what I'm saying, like, absolutely not. And it's like, it's funny because when I think about my grandfather, I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandfather used to always say to me, like, you so serious, you take everything so serious. And I'm like, how
it
do
is
you
serious.
expect me not to react? I see, this is what I see. What do
But
you want me
because
to do?
but do you see exactly what I mean? And that's what I mean about it's like everyone is kind of attacking that clarity from every
Yes.
level.
Hmm.
And then if you start to second guess or question yourself, or like you said, waver or let your guard, and then you get blamed for it. You know, like
Yeah,
that,
like
like
you
that's
put me
what
in
I
this
mean.
impossible position
Yeah.
where it's like, I am not safe.
Yes,
I am not
and that's the
safe.
reality, and that is just the reality. But again, like, and I'm sure in other aspects or in a different type of conversation, especially if he was the one leading it, he would have no problem saying that. But then as soon as you reflect it back, it's like, what are you? Oh my God, you're just so paranoid. Like, why are you
Mhm.
so bitter?
Now,
It's like,
I want to give context. My grandfather, like he and I, it was more so just a, like, he wasn't, I didn't experience man stuff from my grandfather.
no,
Me
and you don't
personally.
even have to explain it that way. I don't.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, no. Like I want you to know. Like I see exactly what you
Mhm.
mean, and that's why I said earlier. Even when people don't intend it to be that way, it still has that same impact.
It
Is
has
what
that
I'm
same
saying.
effect. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm even more hard on the good guys than
Mm-hmm.
I am on, because those are the ones, like, if you see Future,
Mm-hmm.
if you see somebody around that is just a ne'er do well,
Mm.
you will know, okay, this is a ne'er do well. Like, there are some guys that I'll see, and I'm still alive, I'm still a woman. I'll be like, oh yeah, I could see your trouble. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like, I can feel the desire. I know where it comes from. I
Mm-hmm.
see what type of stuff. Like
Yeah.
someone will be like,
Yeah.
oh, do it for the plot. Like, I'm not going to do it for the plot, but I can see why somebody would do it for
Why
the
that
plot
would
with
happen?
you
Yeah.
specifically, right? But it's those squishy bear guys that
Mm-hmm.
you're just like, oh no, he's just a regular dude. He's not, he's safe,
Mm-hmm.
he's fine, he's not doing anything or whatever. And then they come out a trick bag on you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, how did we get here? Like, I was being, that's the thing that really hurt me when I was like, how they be like, oh, you're being superficial. You know how
Mm-hmm.
many times I had a bad time because I
Girl.
was like, you know what, girl, don't be superficial. Give him a chance. He really likes you. He really seems to like you.
Yes. But again, what I'm saying is, do you see how everything you're saying it still props up, like they still win. You know what I mean? Like I guess that's
Mhm.
kind of what I'm saying. It's
Mhm.
like,
Oh, the game is rigged. The game is
yeah,
rigged.
it's
The
like
board is
everything that they
tilted.
feel
The
that they
room is
feel.
tilted.
And they're like, why aren't you standing up
Why
straight? Like
are you on the floor?
why would you get down
You
there?
a
Girl,
lazy
get up.
bitch. Just want to
Girl,
lay
get
down.
up off this floor.
It's just like,
No, it's really frustrating, and I think, going into this year, that's I guess that, like, I'm still combating a lot of the co-parenting stuff and all of that, and there's a lot of like legal stuff happening. So I feel like once I'm able to get that out of my
yeah.
immediate,
Girl, I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't listen. When when I tell you, as a 40-year-old woman, and my baby is going to be 12, I thank God every day
Mhm.
that I had my kids when I had my kids,
Mhm.
and that I didn't get what I thought I wanted in terms of being with their father.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because I'm like, if I had got to this point, either married or not married, but if I got to this point and I didn't have kids, the type of person I am, I would have been like, I think I want a baby. Oh, they
Mhm.
would
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
had that to
Yeah.
dangle.
Mhm.
They would have had that to dangle in front of me. So God knew what he was doing, and God knew what God was doing when he didn't give me the son I thought I wanted. I'm so serious. When I got pregnant with my second child, and I was like, "Oh, this going to," and they were like, "It's a girl," and I was just like, "You know what?" I thought about it. I said, "You know what, God, you probably right." And I didn't. I was just like, "You probably are right," because I had at that point I had friends that had sons,
Uh-huh.
and I was just kind of like,
Yes,
"You probably right."
my oldest is my son, and he's 23,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm here based in Atlanta, and when I tell you that
Oh,
is, girl, that is textbook YN. I just be like, who raised you? I be like, what is going I swear, I was actually watching Themis's live yesterday, and they were talking about, I think some of the, like, the young guys, like, they were the video that they were watching. I think those young
mm-hmm.
guys were from Atlanta, and they were like,
Mm-hmm.
"Why are they speaking like that?" I'm like, "That's what they do," and they're like, "Their parents never corrected them." I'm like, "Don't be blaming us." Like, no,
This is
like,
the thing. I had a young man close to me, way younger than I am,
mhm,
and a couple years back, he was grown, but he wasn't grown, but he was grown at
mhm,
that time. And I remember having a conversation with him and him explaining to me that, like, he knew that his single mother, he acknowledged that his single mother did everything she could by him, right? She
mhm,
worked hard, she kept him in nice environment. She did
mhm,
everything that she could
girl.
possibly do. But he had started when he was young. He was explaining how he did, some hood rats. They say, "I want to do
Yes,
hood rat shit with
yes,
my friends."
mhm,
He was doing
mhm.
hood rat, and he was just basically like, I'm a man. I just needed to
Yes, like,
experience."
you
And it was
can't
just it's manhood to
get a
them.
hold
They
of
will
them.
just wreck everybody's life around
I'm
them
telling
and make
you.
it again fuck up your homeostasis just because.
This young man grew up, like, just like you said, suburban. Like, we lived in all the suburbs on purpose, because I'm like, I grew up in the hood. I don't want him, having that experience.
Yes, do everything they
I
could
want
possibly do.
he hit 15. He came in talking that mumble. I'm like, well, excuse me, say it again. What happened? Like, I was like, well, what are you saying? I don't
They
understand what
get
you're saying.
outside of the house, and let's not even we this idea of them being so frustrated that
Mhm.
they have to answer to a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good of an environment you give them. If
Yeah.
they feel like they should not have to answer to you as a
Mhm.
woman, you're never going to win.
Yeah, and I think it's also, again, just like where you were saying earlier about the whole gender dynamic, right? And how people are so committed to these things. that's where they also come into that confusion, right? Because they're like, well, this is a woman, so she doesn't understand anything, and I have to figure out how to be a man and man. But like, these are such arbitrary things. It because it's like the thing is so simple. I'm like, you should operate in an integrity, right? You should have empathy. You should have
Wait,
self
meanwhile,
awareness.
they don't know how to wash their clothes. They don't know how to cook food. They don't know how to do any of the things that they would need to do that really encompass like being an adult
A self-sufficient
outside of.
adult. But again, as long as you're able to hide behind the gender dynamic, then that doesn't matter, right? Like, oh, well, that's a woman's
That's
job,
a
or I don't
woman's
need,
job.
yeah.
And then it becomes, oh, well, that's your women's fault for not coming and doing this stuff for me. I'm an incel.
No, my son, like I say, my son has said so many things, and I'm like, who taught you that? Like, what is going on? Like, his favorite thing to say to me now, no, mommy, you don't understand. These women are not like you. Sir,
Let me.
first of all, I do understand. I'm talking about you and how you are like. Like, I don't care what these women are like. I'm talking about your behavior. Where we're gonna stick right there.
But that's the thing. It's like if all these men are like this, then or all these women are like this, then I don't have to. There's no need for me to be better. There's no
Correct.
need for me to try to position
Yes.
myself to be the type of man that this woman that I want would need because all these women are the same. And it's
But
just like
forget even to be a man for a woman, right? What
right,
type
just be
of
there for
person
yourself.
are you? Exactly. It's like, I'm not about to get into this conversation with you because you're not going to justify being a person of low moral character telling me somebody else's child acts away. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like what are we talking about? Like, I don't, like, you're
Not
still being
just
a
on the
liar.
women,
Like,
but
I don't
also, oh
care.
well, I'm better than that guy. It
Yeah, like,
doesn't matter. He's so bad. It doesn't matter. This that you're doing is still bad.
it is bad,
It's
right?
unacceptable.
It's like all on its own. Let's take all of that out the equation. All on its own, your behavior is unacceptable. So what are we gonna do? He'd be like, "Yeah, okay, I'll talk to you later."
It's like, what can you do? But then it's because it's not because he don't want to listen. It's because you just don't know how to raise a man. And it's
Yeah,
just like
correct. I don't get it. I don't
my
know what I'm talking about.
my
Yeah.
heart goes out to you and the rest of the women. I'm so sick because
When I
I
tell
just
you.
because I mind you I love babies. I
Mm-hmm.
love toddlers. And I love, sweet children,
Mm-hmm.
children minded children. I love children.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I just love is a cute little chocolate baby boy. I love me a cute little chocolate teddy bear baby boy. But you're telling me that this motherfucker gonna grow up and nothing I do is gonna be good enough?
Man.
Nothing I did, nothing I do, no love I could give them, no forward thinking, nothing.
If only I knew then. Okay, is all I can say. What I know now, I'll be like, it was when I tell you that boy put me through it. Okay, through it, and like you say, it becomes my main issue with everything I'm experiencing now. Again, is how everything is framed as such a personal moral failing, barring environment and just ignoring culture and
Culture,
yeah,
environment, personal
yes,
preferences. Because it
ugh,
is so funny to me how they're always like, oh, women aren't accountable when the whole thing is about them not taking accountability for their choices of how to behave in the midst of all this stuff that is going on. Like, yes,
mm-hmm,
all these things that you're saying are happening can be true and are happening. That does
mm-hmm.
not have any bearing on how you choose to show up.
Yes. And that seems like a very simple concept to me, right? Like, it seems like it shouldn't even be complicated. But it's like, no, and it's so funny that you say you love baby. Like, I do too, but like,
Mhm.
I would not want any
Love
more.
me a
So
baby.
it's so funny. I got into reborning. I don't know if you heard about that.
Oh,
So
yes,
you know,
I
the
do. I
little
have friends
reborn
that do
doll
that.
artists. so
Yeah.
so I make babies all day and I
Mhm.
just sell them and I just take pictures of them and put on cute outfits and then they go where they're going and they're not real and I don't have to deal with
He said
anybody.
that they're not rich. See, this is the thing. Now, mind you, because I don't know if you've been, I have an oldest child too.
Mhm.
My oldest daughter she'll be 22.
Okay. Yep. So
And then
about the same age.
and my youngest daughter will be 12. So my oldest daughter, but she's in school and she followed behind mommy. She was like, I got that implant. I'm not playing. You know what? But I'm so glad because I'm like,
Yes.
okay, I was able to let her know, like, this ain't no joke. I got pregnant right away
Yeah, me
at
too.
like 18.
Yeah, me too.
So it's like, I'm so happy for she travels. You know what I mean? She works, she got her own place, she got a little boyfriend, and he's
Hmm.
nice to her and good to her. You know what I mean? So it's just like I couldn't be happier for her. But
That's
I ain't
amazing.
gonna lie. And that's why I'm on my grind and everything. I'm getting myself prepared because I can't wait
You like, I
to
want
be
to see that
grandma.
you do the right to feed the, because then you get to like, I was
Like,
talking to a friend of mine
I'm
the other day who's grandma, and she's like, yeah, and
hmm
he wanted ice cream for for breakfast, and I just gave.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, that's such a grandma thing to do.
Yeah. And mind you, like a couple of my friends already had grandkids. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm just like,
But I mean, but it's almost like you have to prepare yourself. Like
hmm
shoot, with the way everything going, she may not even want to, like.
listen, she's spoken about it like, but like down the line. You know
Mhm,
what I mean? And the
mhm,
thing is, prior to getting pregnant with her, my plan was I didn't know if I wanted to have children, but I
mhm.
knew if I was going to have children for myself, I
Right,
wasn't going to do it till like after 30. That was my
right,
plan.
right.
But I was willing to be like a surrogate because I was like, maybe I just kind of want to know what it's like as a woman to be pregnant without
Mhm.
necessarily having the pressure of having to raise a
Raise a
child.
child, yeah.
But I knew if I was going to have a baby of my own, I wanted it to be after 30. So that's why I'm
Mhm.
like, I give her all the space, to do what she need to do.
Yeah, no, that's it. And that's like I do love it for these kids. Like, and the only difference with, like, you have your daughter and then I have a son. When I tell you, this boy has come to me probably at least 3 different times, and he's like, "Yeah, my girlfriend is pregnant," and I'm like, "Oh my God, that's the last thing you need." And then he'll come back and be like, "Oh well, she wasn't actually pregnant," or this, and so it's like now, like
You're
this is
wanting a new plan moving forward?
listen. So it's like you get to be in the space that at least you will understand what's going on with your daughter. I
Mhm.
have this son, and all I can do is just hope that I'm not like walking through the grocery store one day and see some little kid like, who, hold on, this looks familiar. Because
Right?
I'm like,
Because these men
sir,
have
what
lived
are you
whole lives
doing?
acting
So
like
as
these
far
kids
as
don't
I
exist.
know, he doesn't have any children. And I'm like, I'm so
Right.
glad that he doesn't. But it's like his behavior. I'm like, do you have any children? Like, what do I like? What do I even do? It's just like
It's
so
really mine,
insane.
but like I said, the men that I've been around and got to talk to, and in my personal sphere, like family and stuff like that, I just be like, it's really I feel for the girls. I feel
Mhm,
for the girls that are just like, oh yeah, this is just a part of life. Men are just a part of
mhm,
life. You just have
mhm.
you can't be alone, right? It's like,
Right. It's like you can't, no, but that's what's so radical. Do you what I'm saying is, I did not realize how radical that idea was until this divorce. And it's like, literally, this is what I mean. Like, people have the best intentions, but they are like dead set on, "Oh, don't give up on love. I mean, you gotta be with," and I'm just like, why? Like, what do you well, you don't want to be alone. But am I alone though? Like, I have a very full life with a lot of love. I'm like, is romantic love the only type of love that exists or something? I'm so
that's
confused.
listen, my babe, you saw me. I was over here crying and stuff about Alicia. Like I'm
Yes.
loved. I have so
Yes.
much love in my life. I'm
No,
so much.
I've genuinely had to ask people because they are also simultaneously having bad experiences as we speak. So I've had to ask them, I said, okay, I hear you saying this, but what is it that you feel like you're uniquely able to get from men that you can't get from anywhere else outside of the sexual aspect of it, right? That makes it worth what we're experiencing. Like, I'm not saying every man is this like you said, this horrible, like, oh my God, they're gonna abuse you and da da da. I'm not saying
Like this
that,
is not
but
worth it.
yes, like
Like
that.
this is
That
just
is
not worth
literally
it.
what
I'm not seeing it.
asking him. I've been like, but given the experiences that we are consistently having, what makes it worth it to keep just being like, well, I gotta try, like, to get what? Like, what are we trying to get? Like, what do we need to
Right. And then and they tell you that, oh, don't go for money and stuff like that. Because like listen,
get, man?
the last man I dated, it got to a point, I started out with just, he was one of them guys, oh, let me give him a chance. Let
Mhm.
me give him a chance or whatever. But he was good about the money. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, he was good about the money.
Right.
We went on, I liked when we went out and stuff. It wasn't no 50-50, nothing like that. He was paying for everything. I liked
Right.
the way we looked, like all the aesthetic stuff was right.
Okay.
But he was playing them games. And
Yeah.
my thing is that I'm a grown woman. I've been grown a long time.
Mhm.
If you want to just mess around, we can just mess around. Because I'm not like,
Right. Because it's not that deep. Like it's
but
what?
don't try to have me over you just so that you can put me on a shelf.
But
That's
that's what
not
they
going to
want
work
to
with me.
do. The first thing that you said, if you just want to mess around, they don't want that. You know what I mean? Like they what I've been realizing in general more and more is that again, it is not the bug, it is the feet. They like the mental mind, like
They like it.
they
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like they want to do it. So it's like you a lot of times come to the table with more just like transparency, and you're trying to be more
Yeah.
fair, and you're just trying to be, you know, like genuine, and
It
they
can
a lot of
never
them are
be.
not coming to the table that way at
It can
all.
never be a win-win.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that is something that when I understood that, and I don't know if you saw, like, I clipped the piece where we were talking about um I was talking about, it had Diddy and stuff. That was the video that got all the men and stuff over there. But I
Mm-hmm.
was talking about how I realized from sitting in the manosphere, mind you. So
Yep.
conversations, because this is the thing, I'm not against men talking,
Mm-hmm.
but I do feel like women talking to men a lot of the time, either they're not realizing what's happening, like the
Mm-hmm.
dynamics of what's
Mm-hmm.
happening,
Mm-hmm.
and or a lot of these people are just exploiting, the
Mm-hmm.
algorithm, because this is
Mm-hmm.
just what goes on. And
Mm-hmm.
other women that don't understand the dynamics
I
of
think
what's
it's a
happening are doing
combination
shit.
of both.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. So they don't want a win-win. It doesn't really necessarily even matter what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to lose.
Yes, yes. It has to be a
You have to
hierarchy.
lose.
Yeah, like the hierarchy is necessary.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. And
'Cause-
and that's the part that I say I think once you reach that level of awareness, it just makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Because
Yeah.
again, and this is what makes me realize more and more, this is what validates for me that it is not interpersonal. It doesn't stop at an
Mm-mm.
interpersonal level.
No.
Like because
It's
there is
systemic.
something systemically that is trying to protect itself
Mm-hmm.
by, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like because why is everybody so bothered with this level of awareness from me? Like
And this
why?
is my thing too. Once you get to that level of awareness, you're not just going to see it in the futures. You're
Mm-mm.
not just going to see it in the ditties.
Listen to
You're
me.
going to start
Listen
seeing
to
it
me.
in that guy that you feel like you're cool with at the
Listen to
job. You're going to
me.
see it
The
in the
the
good guy.
therapist. What do you mean? The what girl? You're
You're going
gonna
to see it in the good guy, and it's going to fuck you
you
up. You're
can't
going to be
unsee
like,
it. You
wow,
cannot
you
unsee it.
too?
Yes, yes, and that's what I mean about your level of tolerance. I feel like when your level of tolerance gets to such a place, again, it just makes people so very uncomfortable because they want you to continue to participate. And once you opt out, they want to make you defective, right? They don't want to acknowledge that again, this could be a logical choice that makes sense given the environment. Like they just don't want to accept that that's the environment, so they want to just be like, well, you know what? You're just, I mean, I understand that somebody hurt you, but you're
Listen,
just damaged now.
girl, girl, girl.
I just look, I have to tell people, I'm like, I'm not even hurt. Like, I'm done. It's a difference. Like, what am I hurt about? Like, I'm good. I just want to be left alone. Like, why is everybody coming messing with me? Like, I don't
Listen, and you know what is the craziest part about it too?
understand.
Because yes, I want to be in homeostasis, but it's not just simply because, like, oh, I'm a victim,
Correct.
I'm
Yes.
shit. It's because I become a different animal,
Mm-hmm.
and when I get activated, and I like we were talking about personal accountability of how we choose to act as people.
Mm-hmm.
When that gets activated, when I see that, now you know what I like. Now
Mm-hmm.
it don't
Yeah,
even just be a thing
there's
of like, oh, I don't like it. It be a thing of like, oh,
there's no
like now
grace.
let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
And I'm
yes,
like,
yes.
I don't want to do. And the thing is, the way people have been shocked,
Mm-hmm.
the way I've seen people, you know how you kind of go somewhere else and you just see people looking at you like with this fear.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to, it's like I don't want to be that person.
Yes,
I
it's
don't want to be that.
that,
I
no,
don't
that's why
want
I
to
keep
be
saying
that person.
my motto for this year is just leave me alone.
Just leave me
Like
alone.
like just
Like
leave
you
me
think I'm trying to? Yes, I am trying to protect me, but honey, I'm protecting you too.
alone.
Like
Man, hey, listen,
you
I'm
have
trying to
no
do you a
idea.
favor.
You have no idea. What I walk on the edge of madness every day. You have no idea.
None at all. Like you do not understand how you're 2 seconds away from, because again, that is one thing that I say. Like, one thing that I do know that we are able to do, we draw on those ancestors, okay, and we come from a long lineage of a lot of shenanigans that we have to draw upon and a lot of strength. So you might just want to leave me alone. Like, I'm not bothering you. Like, I don't know why you want to keep coming over here trying to activate all of this, but
I recognize there was a guy. So, and not just I knew it before this, but I'm telling this story because it's funny. It's just the attention and just that's what I'm saying. People don't recognize when we talk about incubus and succubus, incubi and succubi and all these other things. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if they realize it or if they're just like, hey, I know what's happening, but I'm going to capitalize off of it. Because I was at this TikTok live today and this man was up there. His name spelled out gaslight. It was like GA slight, but
What do
it
you
spelled
mean? You
this
spelled it
man's name
out.
spelled out.
That was the
I
name.
came, I came in like it was already underway. But he was up there and like he was gaslighting, he was doing the thing, he was changing, the goalposts, he was not taking accountability. Like they full out caught him in a lie with a screenshot of something and everything, and he was
Mhm.
minimizing it, talking about some omission and like no, you lie. You know what I
Yes.
and it was like they were breaking, but the women, the part that drew me in and kept me there was that
Uh-huh.
these women were actively breaking down exactly what he was doing in the moment. Like they were checking
Mhm.
him
In,
right
re-
in the moment, saying,
in
"You're
real
doing this,
time.
you're doing this, you're hitting these
Yeah.
notes, and this, that, and the other." And what I noticed though was that some of the women were just like, drop him. Why aren't you dropping him? This is triggering. Da, 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 da. And the other woman was like, women need to see this. And I was like, you know what? They're
Mhm.
right. Women, because
I think
you
that
do go through that so much. And there's
yeah.
so many times that I was going through that. And I just kind of was like, child, I'm just over it. And I just went on
Mhm.
about my bit, but without checking them and letting them know
Mhm.
I see what you're doing. You just kind
Mhm.
of give up. And that's what it's designed to just make you give up, move on, and get to back to serving however you serve.
I think that it could be helpful, like you say, in a public sphere in that way to show it in real time, because even if most women in the moment may not clock it or get it, it's still something that's there that they're
Mhm,
able to go back to and access in real time and see like, oh, okay, this is exactly what this
mhm.
looks like in real time. Because another thing that I think gets thoroughly underestimated is you can be a highly intelligent person and the manipulation is still effective. Because
It's only effective though because you are
Mhm.
your. I say it all the time. Your logic is subjective to your objective.
Correct.
If you're
Correct.
going into a situation thinking, "Hey, I'm here to collaborate. I'm here to have a good time.
Yep.
I'm not looking at,"
We're both
and
coming from the same
yes,
perspective.
and
Yeah, like yeah.
furthermore, if I were to view you as I do now, view men as men who are setting out to do that,
Correct.
I'm not going to be around you. But if I'm around you, that means I'm not thinking that you would do that. So
Correct.
I'm not going to be trying to protect myself from that.
Yep.
I'm just going to be kind of like, what's going on? And that's how it would be. Like at first, it's like, what's going on? Then you get to a point where, oh no, maybe I'm being misunderstood. It's all
Yes, and
coming
then you
from a
try to
genuine
explain
place.
and explain. Yeah, and then you're
And then
thinking
next
that
thing you know, you're on the ground like this because of some imagined slight that they were able to slip in there and make you wrong when the whole time it
yes,
was them lying, it was them trying to steal, it was
yes,
them getting caught, it was them punishing you for catching them. It was, like
yes. It's a uneven battlefield that you don't even know that
you're
you're on.
on. You
Like you don't
don't
even
know
know
that.
that you're on the battlefield,
And
and
so
they're
we can sit and blame single motherhood by these women are getting God not even knowing they were on a battlefield.
didn't even know, did
By the
not
time
even know.
I did not learn what was going on. How old was I when I figured out what the fuck was going on? I was 30. I was like 30 by the
Listen,
time I was able to get the info. Like I said, going and sitting where men talk and listening to men and go, oh, that's why this
listen
happened.
to
That's
me.
why they were treating me like that. That's why these things were going on.
I got married at like 31, 32 years old to someone that I had known since I was 13 years old. Okay. Listen, and but I was already at, I guess you would say, a certain level of consciousness where I'm like
Mhm.
understanding the gender dynamic a little
Yeah.
bit. And I'm like, okay. And then,
You're like,
we hit
I'll play along,
yeah,
whatever.
and then like we hit the pandemic, and that's when the manosphere really crept up. And I'm looking at all of this stuff, I'm like, this is crazy, right? And I always had an understanding of like fairness and things that were going
Mhm.
on. But I am 42 years old, and it literally took me until last year. And this may sound like the craziest thing, but because I was experiencing the level of abuse that I was, like, especially like mentally and emotionally, I did not have the language or the understanding of what I was actually experiencing.
There's no point of reference. They tell you were
Hmm.
living in triumph. You had
Yes,
done it.
yes, like
You had married. You were married. You were picked. Why would you be looking for anything wrong?
no, no, but no, no, but what was so I guess I would say destabilizing for me in that situation, I never felt like that, right? Like me personally, I never felt like the picked one and all that. I, my friends will tell you, like, maybe for the past, because we were married for 9 years. So maybe for the last 4 years of it, I was literally like, I don't know how to get out of here. I don't know what this is. Like, this is, like, it was, so I wasn't even at a point where I was like, well, I'm picked and I want to work it out. I was
Yeah.
at a point where I'm like, what is the proper way to navigate what is this?
Like,
Like,
what
you
the
know
fuck?
what I'm saying? I'm like,
What's happening?
no, I swear. And listen, like, I'm watching the stuff like on the YouTube and stuff like that, or I may watch a channel like yours. I'm resonating with everything that you're saying, but I'm stuck in it. Like, could you imagine? What I'm saying is, you imagine the mental. It's like, I don't want to be like, I'm getting played every which way I look around. Like, it's like, and it won't stop. Like, I don't want to be like, oh my god. Like,
Oh my god. Oh.
it was totally insane. But what I was saying is that it took for me to, I think that there still was, to your point, this certain level of um what do I call it, grace, or just this certain level of, you don't understand the person's quote unquote nefarious intent,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Mhm.
you continue to give them the benefit of the doubt,
Mhm.
and as long as they continue to get the benefit of the doubt, you're operating from a certain level of integrity that they aren't. And so they're able to exploit it. So it wasn't until I was able to shift my understanding. Oh, he doing all this on purpose. It's on
Right.
purpose.
But then they'll sit around because they want you to be, because that's innocence. What you're
Yes.
describing is innocence.
Yeah.
But then they'll turn around and say, you know, naivete is another word for innocence.
Yes.
They'll
Yes.
say being naive in a negative.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
wrong to be naive,
Correct.
but also you're supposed to be innocent
Yes.
because then only then are you worthy
If you're innocent.
if
Yep.
you're innocent.
Yep. Hmm. Because if you have a certain level of clarity, now you're damaged goods, and nobody wants that. You didn't let all these men do this stuff to you, and now you all beat down, and now you want to.
And I don't want you and question. So this man was not your son's father.
No, he's my daughter's father. Hmm.
Okay. This is
I mean, yeah.
that was the thing that I had to that was the thing that really was like, okay, I'm so it was a relief
Hmm.
when I found out how they viewed single mothers.
Hmm.
It had never occurred to me that they were like basically like a used car or
Me
something.
either.
You know what I was just like,
No, that's what I mean. But remember,
that wasn't really, again, that didn't come to its height until like 2020, right? When the
Mhm.
pandemic hit and all that. I was already a good 3 or 4 years in. I just what I'm saying, and I was like, I got
See, the funny part about it is I had started watching like YouTube in terms of like man female content, stuff between men and women, black women, men and women specifically in like 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So it was this lady, what's her name? Deborah Morgan, Deborah something. She's an older lady. She
Mm-hmm.
be calling her stuff Debsterisms or something. It was like she was like one of the first people, and it was like Tony Gaskins
Yeah.
and this
Uh-huh.
other Reverend guy. I can't remember his name. I could see his face clearly. Those types
Yeah,
of
yeah,
things.
yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that stuff is kind of like you're like, okay, because I was coming in like, okay, I'm a mother. I need to be serious. I'm growing. I'm a grown up. I need to start living. I need to settle down. So
Correct.
I'm looking at it like from a growth standpoint and
Yes.
I'm willing to listen. So I'm listening to stuff and I'm listening to Deborah talking about the men and all the stuff they do. I'm like, yeah, girl, that's right. But I'm also listening to Tony Gaskins and
Mm-hmm.
RC Blake. That's his name.
Okay.
RC Blake. And then I started getting femininity content. So that
Mm.
what's her name? Nicole Michelle. I think that was the
Mm-hmm.
first person I started watching. And it Pink Pill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I started seeing all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, fair enough. I'm
Mm-hmm.
listening from a student standpoint. I'm like,
Yes.
okay, fair
Yes.
enough. I hear some things that make sense. Men
Yes.
should want what they want, type of thing. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, okay, as a fat,
Mm-hmm.
dark skinned, unambiguously black woman, this space feels hostile to me,
Mm-hmm.
and not just because like, oh, they're saying stuff and it makes me uncomfortable or not, but it's just like, look. Me personally, I don't give a fuck about losing weight like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
but I for damn sure ain't gonna let nobody treat me as lesser because I'm not gonna lose. You know what I mean?
Especially
Like
when
it's those
everybody
type,
like the same size. Like, what are we really talking about?
it's
Like,
like
what
those
are we
types of
really
things, and I'm
discussing?
just like, okay, I'm not doing that, but fair enough. They can want what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Fair, it was some type of things like fair enough. They can want what they want. Then those women would collaborate with the manosphere. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I found the manosphere. And once I found the manosphere, I was like, well, I don't really need to listen to the women because the men are talking. If I
Mm-hmm.
want to know what men think,
What they
I'm
saying
gonna listen
directly
to
from
men.
the horse's mouth. Yep.
Right. So I started sitting in man spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And girl, I was like at first I was kind of like, oh, they funny, because
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
see. But then it's after a while, it really starts hitting home what they're saying and the implications of the stuff they're saying.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
was just like, I was disgusted. I was just disgusted. And I was just like, now I know why I'm single. And
Yes.
I will continue to be so. It
Yes.
was kind of like once I got there, I was just like, you got
Yes. What made it so insane for me though is that like around that time I was collaborating with a few other young ladies and I was getting into like the content space as well. And again, me not knowing, again, I didn't realize what I was working with at the time. I was just navigating it. But he would make it very difficult for me to do it, right? Because the time that it takes and all this other stuff.
yeah.
And he wouldn't like outright be like, oh my God, you can't do it. But like the passive aggressive, like I just knew it was an issue. So I invited him to be a part of it so that I could do it because I wanted to do it, right? When I tell you like that, we probably did it for about 2, 3, or 4 years, maybe. And when I say to you, we used to be on stream, and this man would he would be like he would take things because like one thing that would happen a lot is that we would have like conversations on our own, right, about like certain
Mhm.
gender dynamics or different things like that. This man would be arguing me down. You tell like me down, like down. We would get on stream and he would start repeating the stuff I was saying. And listen to me.
Baby, these niggas want to be you.
Listen
They
to
want to
me.
be you. They don't. They're not whole people. And I had to like. They're not whole people.
It was
No
but when
offense to any men that's in it. Y'all seem to be cool, but I'm just saying, like these they're not whole. My
what I'm
oldest daughters,
all I'm saying is, and then just imagine, just like you said, of course, in hindsight, and now me being able to unpack all of that, I can thoroughly break it down. But just at the time, experiencing it blindsided, I literally didn't know what
Because
that was. I'm like, what is happening?
why would you conceptualize it? And then, okay, let's say you go along with what they're saying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you're like, okay, I'm supposed to be this. That means that I need to be looking at you from the gate as if you're like that. And if I'm looking at you from the gate as if you're like that, what the fuck do I want you around me for?
yes, exactly. Like, and then me again, still trying to give the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, oh, I'm like, well, maybe because you know what, and this is what I say. Sometimes you could be too self-aware and too knowledgeable, and they can exploit it, right? Because one thing that I do understand about human behavior and human nature, most of the time we do not change our minds in a conversation, right? Like most of our minds do not work that way. Sometimes you have to digest it, think about it, internalize it, and then people's minds shift over time. So again, me still even giving the benefit of the doubt, I'm like, oh,
Like,
I mean,
okay,
he was arguing
because
me
you're
at the time.
coming
Maybe
in
he changed his mind.
with a collaborative spirit. You're coming in like, oh, okay.
But again, not realizing, like you said, no, he was just co-opting what I was saying and just like using it, like, but he wasn't internalizing anything. Like,
Because I had my oldest daughter's father was the first time in my life that I experienced someone who was jealous of me. That I could see, and it didn't register as such
as jealousy. Yep.
Yeah, because I'm like, what? You're male, I'm female.
Yes.
Like
you have no reference for it initially.
I have no point of reference to be like, oh, he's jealous. But when he was jealous of my intelligence, he was jealous of my even though, mind you, this is I'm gonna take a step back. Because he's not the only man I experienced. These will be men, mind you, that I think are really fucking smart. I felt like my oldest daughter's father was really fucking smart. He was smart and he was charismatic. He had I took like the archetype test that was going around for a while. And one of my prominent archetypes is the type of woman that's a kingmaker.
Okay.
So I will see a man and I will see something in a man and I'll be like, oh, okay, these are good attributes. We could amplify them. I could, like a PR.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm that type of person. Like, I see men like that. And so when I saw him, I was like, okay, he's got the gift of gab. He loved being loud, and he wanted people always got to be seen. He always kind of shucking and jiving a little bit, of just wanting everybody to like him and stuff. He's like a Steve Harvey type.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, he'll entertain you, but he's also think he's that guy, and all that type of thing. I was like, okay, I can work with that. I can clean him up, get him some suits, all these types of. These were the things that I
get him some suits. You was gonna get him some Steve Harvey suits?
Not Steve Harvey suits, no, honey. Bespoke. We were going to go to the, I mean, no. At that time, Steve Harvey was in the big box suits. Not nowadays, maybe the kind of suits.
Yeah.
But I had plans for him. And also, I recognized that I could be that person behind the scenes telling him what to say, but letting him, because I like to chill. So it wasn't like a thing of like, oh, I gotta be in the front. You know what I mean? I've always been the type of person that I will
exploit that. They exploit it. I'm telling you.
Exploit it. Yeah. So, but he will always be trying to undermine me. He will always be trying to like cut me off at the legs. He will always,
and I bet it was subtle too. It was subtle.
I didn't understand what it was. Now, once I understood what it was,
correct.
Then
now it's obvious to you, but I mean, it's so subtle that it's not.
I'm like, no, I thought I was being misunderstood.
Yes.
I thought I was being misunderstood. I'm like, no, I'm on your side. I want to do this. And my exuberance, my optimism, my resourcefulness, my intelligence, my pattern recognition was a threat to all of it. So when I would just be like, oh no, I see You just think you just say whatever. Now I'm being
Listen, no. You just said that. Let me tell you something. The thing, me and my sister was talking about this the other day. We did not. You do not realize, again, because you're coming from a place of being genuine, right?
yeah.
You do not understand how much what you're doing is actually an attack on them, and like you keep doing more of it, and you're
I'm
trying to
literally
figure
just
out
being
why
I
you're
know.
getting.
I'm literally just being me.
And
I'm
look,
just existing.
you're doing more of the stuff that's making them hate you, and they're hating you more and more, and you're so confused. Like, what is the? And it's like you are consistently attacking these men, but again, I mean, not really attacking them, right? But it's an
No.
attack that they perceive, right? But what I'm saying is, you're not, since you don't have that understanding, you don't know that it's the very, like you say, the very essence of those
But they
things.
won't leave you alone.
They won't.
That's the like my that was the part that really was the fuck. Like I don't know if you ever seen years ago. Themis had me on his live talking about my book. Because my book was all about, getting to the point of recognizing like I didn't need him. He actually was the weapon formed against me, and like I needed to like get my mind right for my baby. And so I was explaining how I was just like, look, this would be the best case scenario for us to be together for our child, all of these things. And people were just like, oh, you didn't know, what did you think? What did you women?
Exactly.
What did you expect? And all this other stuff. And I'm just like, why would I be thinking that? I don't have a point of reference for that. That I don't come from people that act like that. I don't come from people that waste their time like that.
No, but I also think that when other women specifically, again, speak that way, I do think that it's one of those like people don't want to see themselves as being even able to be victimized. Like they don't want to believe that certain things can happen to them.
Yeah.
So as long as they convince themselves
like,
that
I know
that it was something in what you did that made this happen to you, then it's easier for them to be like, that won't happen to me.
I'm like, y'all don't understand. I was okay if he didn't want me. I was okay that he didn't want me. He gets to not want me in that. You know what I mean? I just wanted us to take care of this kid together and make sure she had everything that he was the one that kept reintroducing this idea of us being together.
Because he wanted the benefits of you.
Because mind you, because it got so bad that even it got to a point where I was just like, because in my mind I was like, oh, he's the best sex I ever had, so I wanted to have sex, and I didn't want more bodies, and all
the stuff.
I had reason to keep having sex with him.
Yes,
but I was on some stuff like, I recognize you don't want me, and that's okay. This is just sex, and because it's just sex, we're going to do this. It's not going to be no kissing. Like I had boundaries. And that's what I mean about being with someone who just does not want you to have boundaries. It didn't matter what the boundary was. He always wanted what was just beyond it.
Yeah, because the point is not relationship. It's to take.
So it's like, if you want, I'm not giving you sex. You want the sex. Okay, you know what? I'll give you sex, but I'm not giving you my heart. I'm not taking it seriously. Now you want me to take it serious. Like it's just
because it's about control at the end of the day, right? And I think once you realize that it's about the control, then that's what puts everything else into perspective. And I know that's what it did for me. Like I said, once I had that, I was like, oh my God. Then I understood everything through that lens, and I was like, everything that I was confused about makes total sense.
Yes, it all makes. But before you just like, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Men are just logical and women are, it's all this dumb stuff. No, these niggas want to fuck with you. They want to be able to drag you all around the town and do whatever with you, and you don't say anything.
Because
it doesn't matter. Even if you come to them and say, okay, I'll let you do it, they're going to find a way to make it hurt for you, because that is the part. Like, it can't just be like, because there are plenty of, they say, pick the pick-me's. They don't want the pick-me's. They want the ones that they're going to be like, like they want to see you broken. They want to defeat you.
Yes, but that's what I mean. But it's an issue with the self. that they have, right? And what I'm saying is systemically, they are never required to interrogate that. So they get to just continue to project that out and to run amok. And then we live in a very victim blaming society. So, like you say, they get to just project out all their damage onto everyone else, never interrogate what they got going on inside, which requires them to behave this way. And you just get to blame them. Like, why would you let him do that to you? Why would you allow that?
Because y'all told me I needed to have a man in the house. Y'all told me I was doing life wrong because I didn't have a man in the house.
But then they're gonna tell you, like, but you picked the wrong one. why did you go out of your way with all of these excellent men out here that you could have picked, and you went out of your way to go find
you
the worst
found them
one.
at church, you found them at work. You found, like, these are just the men. It's men. Yes, all men. Yes, all men.
Yes.
Listen, my oldest baby father, we met in school, in college.
Mm-hmm.
I got pregnant in college. We were doing the right you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't pooking Ray out on the street.
Yeah, he was in school, just
my
like he
second
was
daughter's father. I knew him from high school. We were both in Upward Bound together. We were in, college bound courses and stuff together. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
we had a friendship.
Listen, you don't have to explain it to me.
I'm just like,
listen. The only thing I'm saying is, I like you said, we listen to men, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't men even speak poorly about men in general? Like, don't men speak, like, won't they say, like, if they're talking about, especially if they're talking to like their daughters, their nieces, whatever, their family, don't they not trust men? Don't they say men are only trying to do this and men only men say this themselves? So that's what I mean. You can't turn around and try to trick me into thinking that somehow I'm going out of my way to pick these rare bad men. When even you acknowledge that it's the majority. Even you say it's even yourself. When you're talking to your female family members, you will even say things like, because I be doing this, because I'm this way. Like, no, don't trust these men. And you even put yourself in the category. But again, that's how I know that all of you all are just manipulative. Because then when you turn around and talk to the women you have romantic interest in, that's when all of that disappears and goes out the window, and you don't know what nobody ever was talking about. Like, what do you mean? All men are not like that. Like, what? Huh? Because
it is so frustrating. And it's like, and then you be trying to tell the woman, like, look, girl, this stuff, because they come to tell you, they be like, oh, girl, he doing this, he doing that, and like, girl, this ain't a one-off, and it ain't gonna stop, and it ain't gonna change, and like.
But the thing is, I do not disparage or even judge women who are not at that place or in that space in any type of way, because I think for the most part, most of us do understand that there is a trade-off to having these relationships, and then there's different levels of what you are trying to get versus what you're willing to trade and things like that. I just do feel like, personally, since my experience was one of the more extreme ones, because the experience that I had with him, I mean, I had, again, other experiences with men where they lied and did X, Y, Z, whatever, but I ain't never had an experience like this.
Because he got close enough.
Oh my God. Yes.
He thought he had, because that's the thing.
You know what?
Do it when they think they have you.
Yes, and then they just let it all hang out. Yeah,
they do it when they think you're beyond self-preservation.
Yeah,
and that's something I've noticed as a I'll say plus size, because they don't like when I say fat. As a plus size, unambiguously Black woman, I have noticed when men are treating me in a way that I can kind of attribute to that, and not in no thing like, because I've been treated well, you know what I mean. But I'll see when I see somebody that, like, kind of assumes that I'm low effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
And so it's just like, there are these boxes that they put a woman in based on these arbitrary things. And listen, I've seen some of the most beautiful women behave in low self-esteem ways. You know what I mean? Of needing that validation from a man. So it's not that I necessarily can't understand why they might look at me in what's that called, comparison to every woman that's in the world, and say, oh yeah, I don't necessarily have to do too much with her. But again, that's when I'll see that look of on their face when I'm just like, you got me fucked up.
Yep.
You got me. I'm not that person. I don't care about any of that stuff.
Yep.
It's either, it's princess treatment or it's nothing.
But no, you just really made me think about that. I think that oh goodness. So the reality of it with you just saying that is that you're gonna get the experiences as good as where your boundaries are, I guess, with them, right? So it's like just like you said, the experiences that I have, like they were never really close enough to, like you say, get that. It's like I'm dating here, I'm dating there. I wasn't never even getting. I'm like, it's not that serious, and that's what I mean. Where it was such a just a mental drain for me because I never even been the type of like, oh my God, I need to be married. Oh,
right. You just like, okay, I'm gonna get married. This is
nice. Like no, it was literally like, oh, I'll marry you, right? Because we've known each other since we were 13, and oh, this is
yes,
fine.
you have your. You're like, okay, you're safe,
right? It wasn't the opposite, which like there are some women who want to get married and they're looking for someone to marry, right? But that was never me. So it was like really crazy being in the situation. And again, like you said, then so over time he did continue to do stuff that was so far out of my boundaries, right? And I'm just sitting here like, and I guess they do start to try to shove you in this box. But it's like the whole time I'm like standing outside of it, just staring around, like don't nobody else.
No.
Like what? Yeah, like I'm like, what is going on?
What are you doing?
I'm like, why is this supposed to be okay? Like I don't.
Because they think like, oh, I married her, so. Or oh, she's in love with me, or oh, she had my kid, or whatever. Like she's trapped now.
Yes. No, yeah. Listen to me when I tell you, like the way that I had to leave, I literally left while this man was at work, and I left a note and went no contact. And when I tell you, he has been having the hardest time ever since. Like this man told me, he said, I'm going through menopause. That I have. He said, you know what, my behavior or my response to his behavior has nothing to do with it. It is that I'm crazy. I'm going through menopause. I have anxiety and depression. I need therapy. Like, cause none of my reaction is making any sense to him. Like he does not. Like you don't think it's any of the abuse? Like no, that wasn't it. It's I'm just menopausal, sir. I'm not.
How could you, a single mother, leave a marriage? He married you.
Yes, like how, like what is going on? What is wrong with it? It's like when they used to accuse women of what, hysteria back in the day.
Lobotomies.
Yes.
Lobotomies, medication, liquor.
Yes. Yes, it's like, but I guess that's what I'm saying. Is what made me realize that it's systemic, like it's historic, it's systemic, it's ancient. You know what I'm saying? Like this, what I'm experiencing it's so insane for, just like you said, pattern recognition. Like I'm extremely high on pattern recognition.
It's pattern recognition. Yes. All it is pattern recognition. Like if the girlies just, and the sad thing I think is when I take myself out of myself right now and kind of go back down the line and put myself back where you're young, you understand things, but you don't really fully grasp the fullness of things.
Yes.
And it's like you think, okay, I'm an adult, I'm a mother. Mothers do this, adults do this. So you think, oh, I gotta have a man, I gotta have a job, I gotta do this, I gotta do, and you're trying to do those things to fill those slots to meet that criteria. And it's not until like you go through it or you have some trauma or whatever, and you get a chance to kind of woosah and really sit back and think about it. This is a crock of bullshit.
And you start questioning the criteria itself. You're like,
yes, because when I sit and think about how well I was doing when my baby father was not around,
girl,
I would be working, I would be moving up the ladder at my jobs. I was like on a steady upward trajectory, and I got to the age of 28 and I was like, okay, I got my own apartment, my first apartment, beautiful apartment, I'm paying all the bills myself.
Yes.
I'm in here. My baby has her own room. It's beautiful. We're living a wonderful
Mhm.
life. Now I need my man.
Mhm.
Now I need
Mhm.
to get. I need to settle down.
Mhm.
Fuck my whole shit up. Like really? No, I literally.
No, I'm
I
listening.
wound up having a nervous breakdown.
Listen, I'm listening to you, and what I'm telling you is, I was literally in here trying to figure out why I couldn't think straight, why I couldn't get out the bed half the time. I'm taking freaking pills for this and for that. I'm like, it's gotta be not understanding the call was coming from inside the house the
Get
whole
him
time.
out of here. Let me tell you something. I moved in my apartment. Everything. Me and my baby was in there. She was like 8. We was in there, and me and her talked. Hey, Erica. Me and her talked like a couple years ago, and because I told her that I was like, look, we here. I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing for her, right? I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm here. I already got the apartment. We're good. We're in here. Just come in here. Be the man in the home,
Right.
right?
Yep.
She said, when I saw him come in there, Mom, I was like, what is he doing here? She said, we did not need him.
And these kids be
We
knowing,
did
don't
not need him.
they? They be looking you and be like,
We did
your
not
head
need him.
crazy.
And I get you. I'm like, you're right. We didn't. Should
Man,
kept him out of here.
like
Should
I'm
have kept him
no,
out of here.
no, but that's what I mean. It's a cultural thing that pushes you into, like you say, blowing up your own life, and then not even realizing that that's what's happening. Because I'm telling you, I was. It's like I knew he was doing things, but again, I was not able to tie those things specifically to everything that I was experiencing. And I
He's just
remember
like, oh,
one
he's so
time,
crazy.
and I right, and I remember
He's just
one
weird.
time.
He's just ornery. He don't.
Yes. One time I even said to him, I was like, I had made a this was probably like last year, right before I left or whatever. I said, listen, I say, I am a high functioning person. That man said, high function. Excuse I was like, excuse me.
You're talking down on me, right? Why are you here? Why did you pick me?
No, it was, but that's what I mean. It's like, it was just so insane. I was like, what do you mean? Like, again, just like you said, right before, hey Erica, like right before we got married, I was already fixing my credit, right? Because I was already wanting to buy a home. There was already these things that I already had in place that I was trying to do. I was constantly getting promoted at work. Like, I had been at the place for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of these things. And we were able, I'm gonna say I was able to buy a home. Like, shortly after we got married, the house is in my name, right? I use my 401k, right? You know what I'm saying? All of these things. And then you're gonna turn around, not even consistently holding down a job over all this time, but you're like, oh, high functioning. What?
Listen. It's people. That's like, it's a tale as old as time. Like I see it so many places, and I just be like,
but even think about, I was saying this the other day too, like I can't even watch half the shows and movies and stuff that I used to watch the same way anymore, right? Because let's think, like one of my I'm sure a lot of our favorite shows growing up was like Martin, right? And so what does that dynamic tell you? Like, you have this guy that he's more blue collar, right, than she is. She's more corporate and all and educated and all this stuff. He doing all this crazy stuff, but just like you just said, you so crazy, right? So it's like this expectation, like you can give this guy a chance. Like, you know, guys are like this. He means well, you know, like it's
we need to have a watch party. I never watched it all the way through, but like I watched stuff about it. It was a show a few years back. It was a white show, but it was called Kevin Can F Himself.
I don't think I've heard of that.
It was a show, so it was a married couple, and what would happen in the show is when the husband, when we were kind of seeing stuff from the husband's perspective, or when the husband was around, it was like a sitcom kind of feel. So the camera and everything, it felt like a sitcom the way you were watching it. But then when he would leave and it was just the woman's perspective, it was like a dark drama. So that shift in perspective of seeing like the experience of being with these niggas, and that's the way it's viewed, of like it's harmless, it's fine, it's everything, and he's the center of it all. But then in the reality of the woman's lived experience. She's fucking stressed. She wants him dead. You know,
Yes. So
like,
this is on
it's
Apple
crazy.
TV. I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this.
No, because it's like perfectly encapsulated, and like they treat you like you're crazy because you're experiencing like, and then at first you will feel like it's just a sitcom because you're
Yes.
not. Who wants to be in their own horror movie? Like, who wants to
Exactly.
be
Yes.
feeling trapped in their life?
Yes.
Like, you're just like, oh,
Yes.
this is weird. What's going on with them? Oh, I can fix it.
Yes.
I'll make them something. I'll be a
It'll
little more
get better.
sexier.
It's
You
this
look like
thing.
you do the thing.
Yes.
And then you realize, oh no, this is the weapon formed against me.
Yeah, and because especially again, I don't know what the full extent of was with your child's father, but with him, like it was very extreme, right? And so it was like
The thing is, it never got extreme enough because it would get to a point. I always looked at it like being annoyed, and this is something I used to say from like middle school on up. And my baby's just like me. My little, she told me, she's like, boys annoy me, and boys always did annoy me.
Yes,
and it's like once I got annoyed, once I'm like, oh, you killing my vibe.
Yes,
like I would just go ahead because I would be trying to meet in the middle. I would be trying to collaborate. I'd be trying to do things, but it would get to a point where it's just, and then once I saw that he was kind of a bully, and then I met his family and I kind of saw it, I was just like, look, I see that you want to engage with me in these particular types of ways, but you don't get to. So it would always be kind of like a slapping of the hand type of situation. But I was very much so hurt because like I wanted to fix him. I wanted to fix it for him. Like there were things I saw where I could humanize him and say, okay, I see why you're like this.
Yes.
Right. I'm like, I see why you're like this. You didn't have the stability that I had in certain respects.
Correct.
You didn't have the room to like grow and love yourself and accept yourself and you know, be comfortable in your skin the way I have. I can give you grace for that. But you don't get to beat up on me.
And that's what they exploit. Yeah.
You don't get to beat up on me emotionally. You don't get to take it out on me. And I don't give a fuck about your masculinity. Right? So it's like we just weren't going to, it was never going to work.
No, to me, it had even gotten to the point where it had been physical on certain occasions, right? But it created a cognitive dissonance in me because I could not comprehend. Like there was no way that I was in that situation. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like my mind would not be like,
because I know for me, it got to a point where I was like, I always had the identity of being smart. And it was like, okay, how could I be smart if this is happening? Yeah, if I let this happen, how could I be smart?
Quote unquote let, right? Like if it's this, like
how did I get here? How did I get here if I'm so smart?
Right? Like you know, it's like I have to be over exaggerating or something because there's no way that I would be in a situation this bad. Like it's no way.
Yeah, and that would really be when I just no, right. And the last straw for me was because he was in my house and I was over there and like I had come to the end of the road at the job I was at, but he was there and I didn't recognize that I was under so much cognitive stress. Like my bandwidth was being stretched by trying to calibrate his energy within my home. And so I wasn't, you know, and
you weren't operating anywhere near at your 100%.
No capacity and like properly. And so I had a particularly bad day of work. My work wasn't bad all the time, but it was just something about this particular day. I wound up quitting that day. And he was in the house and he had a job and, you know, but it was just like, and he was like, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna get another house and then you can move in, but you can't date people, but I can date people. And it was like, it was so, he was showing me this apartment because my apartment had hardwood floors. He knows I like hardwood floors. And he was like, I know you like hardwood floors. See this apartment? Yeah, you can come, you and the baby come stay and da-da-da-da-da. But I can date people. You can't date people. And I'm just sitting there, I was just like, yeah, okay. Knowing I was going to do whatever I want.
Right. Like,
but I was just like, yeah, okay. But like, why would you? It was just stuff
like you could even say that out loud. Like, what are you?
Right. And then like I caught him cheating on my computer. On my computer,
Yo,
he
your
logged
computer.
into Facebook cheating and okay. Then I wound up talking to my second daughter's father, like while this was happening. And he saw that I was talking to my second daughter's father. Because at that point I was just like, whatever, like we just in here, whatever. And he had the nerve to do this whole production of, oh, I'm grabbing my things and I'm leaving. You're just
they love
I'm just like, okay. I mean, and I felt bad because again, I'm younger and I'm still like, I want to be an integral person, but at the same time, it's like, like, what are we doing?
No,
like you know, like it was
yeah. You know, it's just insane, and I think I'm glad that you pointed out your mental bandwidth, because I think that when people ask and they're like, well, why didn't she just leave, or why didn't you leave?
My shit was scrambled.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think people really thoroughly underestimate that, right? Because again, it was a slow burn over time. And again, my friends will tell you, like, I used to be crying to them and I would be saying to them, I don't understand why I can't just leave this situation. Like, I don't know where my get up and go is not, like, it's not just activated. Like, I don't understand what's keeping me. Like, and it wasn't even like a keeping me from the standpoint of I want to be here. It was more of a keeping me from just not having the inertia, you know, like there was nothing. Like
spells, people like they're sucking the life out of you.
Yes, like, I didn't know. This is what I didn't know this until after. You see what I'm saying? Well, I was like, of course I couldn't figure out how to get out or do anything. Like the man drained me dry.
He did leave. He left. Mind you, I'm already not working. So I'm actively like in the throes of an eviction.
Okay.
But he left, and now all of the adrenaline and whatever else that was keeping me going is gone. I had a break, like a psychotic break type thing. I could not get it together. I couldn't take my daughter to school. Like, my family actually came together and took me to like a psychiatric hospital to get me assessed, because I was just and I was like flighty, and I was like you know, like it was that's how fucked up my nervous system and my brain and stuff was.
Yes. And you don't understand that that's what it is from what they've done to you. Again, you will think, and other people, and you will think that it's something defective in you. Like, you would just be like, I don't know what's wrong with me. But like you said, it's an intentional assault on your entire nervous system.
Now, I will say this, because I do feel like they know certain things they're doing, and they do certain stuff.
It's not the same level of consciousness.
Because it's instinctual.
Correct.
It's instinctual on their part, because their ego feels threatened.
They just know that doing certain things will get them certain things.
Yeah. And it's like, and they do enjoy like punishing
the
you.
Power of it. Yeah,
punishing you for making them feel that way. So there is like a to it, but I don't even think that they're just as now somebody like a Diddy.
Yeah,
he is knowing specifically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I say when I say it exists.
Way more calculated. Right.
Yeah, and way more
Most
resources.
Yeah.
But that's why I say it exists on a spectrum, and that's why I'm so about it in the good guy.
Correct.
Because those are the ones that'll get you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is really insane, and it takes so much to again dig out of this stuff, and even to realize, and then like you say, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I promise you, I can honestly tell you, I literally don't know one woman that's having a great time that like I know personally with these men. You know what I mean? Like, and people just like, that's just the women you know. Like, no, those are only the women willing to be honest and transparent with me. Like, but the majority, they
can
are
I be
not
honest with even
time.
The ones that aren't necessarily in distress or danger.
No,
are underwhelmed.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what I was about to say.
They're just like
I know too many who are also in danger, right?
Mm-hmm.
More than there should be. But the majority of them, it's not dangerous situations. It's just situations where
It's just
the other
grating and
person's not
wearing
pulling their
you.
fair share. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Mhm.
and it seems subtle, but it's actually extreme because again, you don't realize how much is draining from you to have to do the bulk of the emotional and physical labor, the child rearing. Like it's too
And
much.
they wonder why their edges falling out. They wonder why their pressure is up. They wonder why they got diabetes. They wonder why they can't sleep. They wonder why they can't eat or they eat too much. Like,
But then they be like, but don't give up on love. I just be like, man, listen.
like first of all, the government is trying to kill me.
Right, girl.
I don't have time. Fight with these niggas over tables and 50 and everything else. I wish a man would come ask me what's for dinner.
And then you know what else is insane to realize is like when you've had an experience like this too, how predatory men are in general, right? Because it's like they will approach you in a certain way because they expect you to be more vulnerable
Yes.
because of the experience that you've had.
Yeah.
And so they're even coming like, oh yeah, she's primed for it's like y'all are just all horrible. Like, why are you acting like this?
That's what I'm saying. Sitting in the manosphere. Hi, Ruby. Sitting in the manosphere. Listening to these men, because it's not simply about what they say. Once you catch on to their logic, because they're always talking about once you catch on to their logic.
Yep.
Because they have fooled themselves into thinking that it is the logic.
Girl.
It's the only logic. No, this is your logic. And it tells me a lot about y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, I keep bringing it back to the good guy. Because once you can, y'all need to learn that logic because then you'll be able to see how these things happen, how you get that frog in the boiling water thing going on. Because you think you're safe. You think you're chosen right.
Yes. And think about how we even talk about this is why I don't like this. And I challenge anyone who I ever hear say it now. Because you know how people will always say, well, a man will change for the woman he wants to, or a man will treat women how they allow. And I'm like, listen, I'm like,
baby, that's my problem. And people say I'm me. I don't want a man that would act like that under any circumstance.
Yeah, do you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that is part, but what I'm saying is that is part of the socialization, right? And that is also the problem that when they turn around and say, why would you choose this person? Nobody's thinking about how society or how we're speaking in a way that is justifying this, and normalizing this stuff. Because when you say a man will change for the woman that he will, you're not thinking about this person's character, period. Like, why would this what does this say about his character that he's treating anybody like that?
Exactly. That you want to know what's so funny? This was so long ago. I remember I called myself being a songwriter, and I wrote this song, and it was called "I'm in Love with the Bad Guy," and it was supposed, even though I do not believe in this shit, but it just came to me, and it was supposed to be about a woman who basically, I guess it would have been the woman that my baby father chose.
Okay.
Like he didn't have nobody necessarily at that time, but it was like that mindset of putting myself in the mindset of a woman that, you know, he left a family or something behind, but he chose that other woman. And the woman saying like, well, I don't know what happened with you guys, but that's not the man I know, and all this type of stuff. And it's just like, for me, I wouldn't want to be picked by somebody that left that kind of pain behind.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to, I couldn't sit and just go, oh, well, you know, she just wasn't the woman I am. You know, like I couldn't.
But that's that clarity, right? That comes later, or to some people it doesn't come at all, because that's what I mean. It's so structurally ingrained, and it is what keeps these cycles perpetuating. Because if you believe that if you behave a certain way or you present yourself a certain way, then it will force a certain standard of treatment upon you, and not think about, again, the fact that no, look at the character of this person. If they're treating any, I don't care if it's the first.
If you do it to them, you do it to me.
Treating right. If they're treating this person this way, what does that say about who they are? Like, do we even conceptualize ourselves that way? Do we walk around being like, well, you know, I kick bums on the street, but if you got on a nice suit, I don't treat people like. We don't do that. So like, why would we like, we're pretty consistent for the most part, you know what I'm saying, how we gonna show up or how we are expected to carry ourselves, right? We don't get to compartmentalize like that. So why do we turn around and then be like, well, you know, they're a good guy, you know, but if these women are acting like whores, then he's gonna treat them like whore. Like, no, like, no, what does that say about him? Like, why would he be out here gallivanting with whores? Like, what is
right? He's a whoremonger. Yes. Your husband's a whoremonger. Gypsies, tramps, and thieves.
Yes. And then like you say, and then it gets normalized. Like, well, of course a man is gonna behave like this because I mean, you know. And then when you be like,
look
well,
at my clothes ring.
Look, and then when you say men are trash, they're like, oh, you bitter. What is wrong? Oh, you're just. It's insane. It's literally insane. Like that has been the most jarring thing to me throughout this whole experience. It's just clocking the contradictions left and right. I just be like, it's like a constant assault on my senses. I just be like, I don't understand what's happening.
A constant assault on you. That's what, like, you do not have, and to know that these things are so deeply embedded in the fabric of the very society that we live in, because your bandwidth and capacity is being so much on the micro.
Girl.
You can't even get to the macro of even recognizing.
Listen to me, and let me tell you what else. It's like, so I have a temporary protective order in place against him or whatever. He violates the thing, blatantly violates it, right? I call the police. He chooses to. Yes, absolutely. He absolutely ain't playing no games, okay? Because it's gonna be me every time, not you. I'm just trying to say. But anyway, so he blatantly violates the thing. He calls the police. I call the police. He's supposed to be 200 yards away from my property. He stands across the street and waits for them to come within 50 feet of my property. And I had to force the police to arrest him. Force them to. They were trying every which way. Well, we're just going to give him a warning because. And I'm just like, this is what I mean about how society. And people just turn around and say, again, why didn't she just leave? Why didn't she just do that? I have been realizing more and more how these institutions also lack just protection, period. How, again, people have their own personal biases when it comes to certain things. Like, I provided the school with the TPO, right? So that he wouldn't be able to access the child for now and all this other stuff. Do you know these people allowed this man to access the child anyway? They're like, you know, well, he says he has this and da-da-da. I'm like, he says he has. They didn't even see it. They didn't even have the paperwork. Do you hear what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is,
might sound like some money you are owed.
Girl, listen, when I tell you these people are scrambling because the emails that I've sent district level, I'm just trying to tell you. But what I'm saying all that to say is that this experience has allowed me to really genuinely understand how people get corralled into these situations and how futile it could be sometimes. And it's like, I feel like, me personally, and again, I don't think I'm like better than anybody or anything else, but I do think that I am one of the more unique people that are able to navigate systems and things a little bit differently than other people are. And I may be able to articulate things a little bit better than maybe some other people. So I can only imagine someone who is not at maybe that level and doesn't have that strength, how they just out here just getting just railroaded left and right, just all over the place. I just be like, this is insane. Because the other thing that I think I have to my benefit is that I'm also very I have very high regulation. So I'm really able to regulate myself very well. So again, just like we were talking about emotions in the beginning, I can
Mhm.
feel stuff and not act
Yeah.
on it. Like I could be extremely mad and I'm not about to start breaking stuff. Like I'm not like
Right.
I know how to sit there and calm down and think about it and do. But
Yeah, figure out, okay, why am I mad and how can I
yes,
fix
yes.
the thing?
Everybody don't have that level of regulation, right? So what I'm saying is that's what always kind of petrifies me when I see the situations. People like, well, they were abusing each other, or this person was doing. I'm like, I can only imagine that in a situation where a man is acting like this man is acting, and if I was a woman that didn't have this level of emotional regulation, how I would maybe defend myself, and then it's seen as you're participating as opposed to defending yourself.
That's why I'm at the end of the day, it all comes back to it actually is not worth it to even engage with these because like every single thing is set up
Mm-hmm.
to kill you and then blame you for your death.
Yes, 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 that's what I said. Yes, that's what I said. That's what I'm realizing. Like, well, why would you do that? Like from every single angle, it's like you get it, and there really is a very low level of support. And I said, like, I'm not in a position right now. Like, I can't afford an attorney. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally navigating the legal system, doing all of this stuff on my own, and it's very difficult. But I'm just like, I could just only imagine again a woman who doesn't have that bandwidth, who doesn't have any type of support system, who doesn't have that level of awareness. I could see how she could just be sitting there like, well, I
Hanging
might as
on by
well
a
stay in
thread,
this
girl,
life. I
twisting
might
in
as
the
well
wind.
just be in this relationship.
Twisting in the wind.
I'm just like, this is insane. I just never even knew all of these things were happening at this level. I think we discuss these things in like theory a lot, but it's like we don't even be
that's
conceptualizing the practice. Like in practice,
the thing is I think that was where I was getting frustrated at, and I didn't know how. Not I didn't know how, but like being such a smaller creator and seeing all these other conversations that feel circular because they're not talking about this stuff. They're
yes,
just talking about these men are bad and you need to do
yes,
this and listen
correct,
to me and
correct,
say this and
correct.
and it's just like okay, and we're gonna argue and the women are happy because they're seeing the men get dragged or whatever, but it's
Correct.
not really like okay, these same women are probably still
Dating
stacking
these.
up. That's why they back every week.
Like
every
like
week,
we
every
aren't
live
changing
stream,
anything. Yeah,
just as angry
just the
about
same.
the same shit.
Just the same. Nothing is changing, and I think that's where the question comes into play, right? Like how. I don't know. It almost gets to a point where it just feels futile, right? Because it's like but you got all the isms, right? You got the racism, you got the sexism, you got the what I'm saying? It's like how do you what you supposed to do?
It's so much. And
what are you supposed to do?
Also, I will say I can get it's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so heavy to carry. And like when I say like I walk on the edge of madness every day because I was saying feeling is hard. Awareness is hard.
Oh my God.
Because I am the party pooper.
Man.
I'm the pooper of my own party. And you know what I mean? Like I can't just rock to the song without
listen.
Misogyny. You know,
listen,
like I can't
no. You are speaking to the choir. Listen to me. I say that all the time. I be like, why can't I just dumb myself down? Like I want to just
you
be
can't.
like I just want to be out here like ooh. Like
no, you can't. I can't just I said for the first time I had a cut water over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
For the first
not
time.
a cut water.
I had a cut water, girl. And I said, you know what? I'm so glad I don't have no men in my phone because I would have gotten in trouble. That would have been the night I folded. The night I folded. You know what I mean? But like but still being able to like appreciate the whimsy of that state. Yes. You know what I mean? Like it's fun to be like, oh, I'm feeling good, and I'm feeling sexy, and I'm feeling whatever. Yes. But that's for me, that is the grieving process of I can't just have fun.
Yes.
In that way. You know what I mean? Like I can't just be carefree. I can't just be like, oh yeah, this guy's attractive to me and whatever like that.
Because even now you have that level of awareness. They be killing the vibe. They
Yes.
the vibe. Like
Yes.
it was this one guy that I had known him from before. And I was like, okay, I could talk to him. It's fine. It don't even have to be all this going on. But it's just like I could not do it. Like he just kept like he would do stuff like, how some of them, they want to be an authority on something. So they always just want to give you advice even when you didn't ask for it about stuff that they don't even know what they talking about. And so he would just consistently do that. And then I simply just asked him. As a matter of fact, I didn't even ask him to stop. I just pointed out that that's something that he does, right? I just and it wasn't even like,
they hate when you clock them,
man. And it wasn't even like I didn't have an attitude. It wasn't like, you always doing this. It was just like, something, da, da, da. And this, when I said, this man lost it. Like he's like, and you're doing this to me, and you're triggering me, and you just need to heal because the way you are right now, I'm like, I gotta.
I did listen. I'm gonna say this, and those here who know, it shows itself, and I'll just say that it shows itself, and it is a pattern.
Yes,
and it is a playbook.
Yes,
and it looks the same. Y'all heard what she said. Those who know.
Absolutely. And I was just like, dang. I was like, I just can't even do nothing. Like, well, oh well. Like I just gave up. Like, forget it. y'all won't even let that happen. Like y'all just ruin everything. Like what? Because like, what is the point of all of that? Like, why did you even do all of that?
I can tell you exactly why. Because one of the mainstays I've noticed of the men is, and one of the things that they hold on to is this idea of, it's those men over there. Same way as there's and there's respectable women. There's good guys and then there's bad guys. And if you didn't, clock the bad guy, it's a failing on you because I'm clearly a good guy, and you would be able to know and see that I'm. So when you are showing them how it's actually a Venn diagram, you become the problem. And what's happening there is he was in the throes of an ego death. And when someone's died, they go, that's what that was.
And you know what?
You said those exact words in that exact situation, because some of us here have seen that firsthand.
Would you care to elaborate?
No. No, they don't need that. They don't need that.
Look, those who know.
Those who know.
We're just gonna leave it at that.
We're gonna leave it at that.
It ain't gotta be explained. Man, yeah, it's just really insane. And so for me, I have been realizing, I think more and more, that I do have a tendency to hold a mirror to people, but because I am a person that holds a mirror to myself first, right? So it just kind of just goes outward. And a lot of people don't like that. They don't be wanting to see. They be like, girl, if you don't get out my face with that.
And I've had that happen with women too.
Yes, it's both genders. Yeah, it's people do not like to see themselves, and this is something that I guess I'm learning to be more what's the word I'm looking for? More cautious, right, about the things that I share or that I say or whatever, because again, I was operating. I'm coming from good faith, right from the beginning.
Like I was just telling you, yes, like, hey, did you know?
No,
and you hadn't considered.
No, but the crazy thing for me is, I think I didn't even realize that so many people hadn't considered, right? I literally will say things to people that I thought were obvious to everyone, right? And especially themselves. And it was like almost shocking to me that they would be like, what do you mean? What? Like, I would be like, oh my God.
And like I said, when it came to like these other men and stuff, it's not that you, like, I'm not going to sit and be with somebody I actively think is a stupid person.
Correct. Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's not, I believe you to be an intelligent person.
Yes.
I believe you to be a fairly reasonable person. You know what I mean? Or have the capacity for reason. You know what I mean? It's just like, how did we get here?
How did it take this left turn? Like it escalates very quickly. I'll put it that way. So I have just I've been learning just to be more cautious about where and how I share things, because I just be like, I thought we was all operating from the same place. I guess not. Like, goodness.
Girl, this is the thing. First, I get quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Then, once I get quiet, if you don't handle it in yourself, I just disappear.
Just remove yourself. No, but it's self-preservation. Like it literally becomes to that point where it's too much emotional labor. It's just too much emotional labor in general, and people will seek you out for it and then still be mad. Like and that's the part that be crazy. Like they will come looking for you.
Girl, no, when I tell you, it got to a point where like I just started literally like I don't have a problem with silence. You know how people like it's an uncomfortable silence or something like that if nobody's talking. I'll just sit there just like this. And nothing. Because I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. 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 No, I'm learning more and more. Everyone is not everyone doesn't need to have access to my thoughts and feelings, and I just be like, you know what, it's cool, don't even worry about it. This is not the space for sharing.
Right, exactly. Like this is not. I'm reading the room. You got it. Like
no, and you know what was also so funny? Like it had gotten to a point, like my ex or whatever, he used to come and get me. We'll be at functions, like maybe a family function of his or something, and he would be like debating with somebody or whatever. He would come and find me and get me and say, hey, you can explain it better. Tell them what. And I just used to be like, what? I don't want to be in this. What, like a party trick? Like,
so now you want to use my intelligence against somebody else. But when we just talk,
listen, it was insane. I used to just be looking like, no, like what? Like why would I just?
They want us to be utilities and appliances that they can use. Mm-hmm. You know, I miss it. There was this webtoon called Lord Olympus, and it was about like the main story arc was Persephone and Hades, and there was this whole plot line about like fertility goddesses and the way that like a male god could take power over all the gods was to get in fertility goddess to love him, and so therefore she would pour all of her power, like he could just basically plug into her and just use all her powers to take over everything. And I think of that so often because it is one of those things, like when we were going to DC for the Cowboy Carter tour, I remember I was on the way there and I was listening to the album, and I was just thinking like, man, Beyonce really loves the fuck out of this man. Like she has created such a mythology, a rich, you know, world building around her love for this man. And I'm like, you know what? But that is what women do. And that is why you'll see women so invested in these, even when all this stuff, because they're telling, like I wrote about it in my book, you mythologize what you're going through with this man as just this great epic tale that's going to end you guys just like, oh, and it's like,
he out here embarrassing her.
Out here embarrassing you. But it's like, that is the power when they say, oh, you giving me life. Like I remember that time FD was over there on Thebus's thing, he was like, "Oh yeah, y'all, what they call him, Unicang or something?" And he said, he said something about, "Oh, y'all giving me life." I said, "See, y'all don't be giving him no life."
Take it back.
That really is what we do. Like when we create these things that they can feel like about, we are giving them life, and they do. Through our body, the children, you know what I mean? Like we give so much, and they're always trying to devalue it, and they're always trying to obfuscate the value of it. They're all, but they still they'll do everything but leave us alone,
girl.
Because they'll sit there and talk about how awful we are. We don't have nothing to value, but they will come into a space where they see us. And even though, like when they came over here, I was like, "What are you doing here? If I'm talking in a way, if you don't find me attractive, I'm talking in a way you don't think is correct, whatever. What are you doing here? Because you didn't see me where you be at."
Yeah, right.
What are you doing here?
But that's also like they're so entitled.
Mhm.
Right? Like they are just so deeply entitled. Like it's insane. But it's like the devaluation is also, again, part of the structural process of holding that power and keeping that control. Because again, if they acknowledged our power, I mean, our value, then that loses power for them. You know what I mean? And that makes us less easy to control. So they have to devalue what we bring, even though they know how valuable it is. They don't want us to
Yeah,
know.
because they want something again that goes back to that whole thing of like you need to lose. In order for me to feel like I've won, you need to lose. So I have to
Hmm.
take something from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to take
And
something.
yes, and that's been like really kind of the most insane part for me, because even with, again, like the situation that I'm experiencing now, it's just like literally watching this person, because again, they don't want to be seen as the villain or whatever. So then they quickly want to jump ahead of the story. And I just be like,
That's why that whole thing of you hurt, that thing you were describing of like,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like now I don't feel secure in the differentiation between me and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so and I can't reconcile it because you're not wrong about
Mm-hmm.
what you're telling me, what you're showing me, but I can't just
Accept that. So
internalize it. I
so
can't
right.
accept
So it's
it. I
something
can't
wrong with you.
I don't want to accept it. So I can't
Mm-hmm.
process it. So now I gotta
Yeah.
with you.
And I got to make you the problem, and now you're
I
trying
gotta
to
make
argue for
you
why
the
you're not the problem.
problem.
But
And
but
now even
I
I might
don't.
even be the victim. Like it.
But one
They
thing I
always
didn't
make them
learn
look
is
like Diddy and them. Oh,
I don't
the
argue with
white man is trying to take them down, and then the
girl,
black like they
girl,
become the victim.
girl, like that. No, but if you look at it, they become the victim of everybody, right? Like they're always constantly the victim. Like every single scenario. I don't know. I've said this so many times. I said, when do you really hear men when they discuss a relationship breakup or a co-parenting situation or anything where they're like, you know what, I could have behaved better, and you know what, I was being. They don't
You
never say
do
she.
see it sometime. It
Mhm.
was last year sometime, I think, when Shaquille O'Neal was saying like, no, he fucked up with Shawnee.
Okay.
And like sometimes but it's what do the men around them do? How
But
do
I
they
also
react?
feel like when they start doing that, it's always something else to it too. I mean, not
Mhm.
I'm sure some
I
of
mean,
them
yeah,
do,
they feeling sorry for themselves. Like I think at the end of the day, you're not
or they
really
trying to
going.
get back in her good graces some type of
I think
way.
Shawnee's married and everything, but
I know,
I
but
will say it's a shame that it has to get to a point where they are just like complete, like Offset's on that trajectory.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Like he's on that
mhm.
trajectory of he's going to do it. Now I never saw Shaq like treat Shawnee the way
That
Offset has
Offset did
treated Cardi
publicly.
B,
Yeah,
but I'm saying like you can clearly tell that Offset is feeling her absence.
correct.
You know what I mean? And I'm not going to sit here and try to like romanticize it,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, that
yeah,
was the
yeah,
love
yeah,
of his
yeah,
life.
yeah,
It
yeah.
could just be simply that he just can't believe
Well, it was the
that she
benefits.
left him. And, like
It was the benefits that he was getting.
the
They
benefits and just
they
the
missed it.
idea of she left me,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
left
mhm,
me,
yeah,
type of thing. So it's like you never really know, but it's a shame that those women can be there willing to work it out, willing to stay, but because for them their deal breaker is you have to stay, but you have to be bowed, bent, and broken.
mhm.
Like it really doesn't matter what we're doing, whatever we're doing, I have to be able to do something that I know that you don't like and have you accept it.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, I need to be able to do what, because the other problem is, it goes back to what I'm saying. They are
Mhm.
never socially or culturally um required to interrogate themselves. So the problem is, again, they are acting out of so much brokenness and so many unresolved traumas and issues that they have. Like the stuff that they're doing, I wouldn't even necessarily say that it's like, I just need to do this stuff to break you and hurt you. I think that that's a what do you call it, a after effect of it, and,
Mhm.
and they're okay with it. And again, they know that the hurt and all of that gives them, it makes them feel valuable, right? Like they're like, oh, if I can hurt you, that means I mean something, right? But I mean, they don't interrogate why they're even choosing to do the stuff that they do. But they need to be in environments where they're allowed to do it because they're trying to fill a void that is
You wanna
unfillable.
you wanna know something? Because like I said, I went to the African American Museum in DC.
Mm-hmm.
And the first part of it, like you go in the basement first, and that's the part about slavery. And one of the things that struck me immediately, like, because the way they did it was like masterful of like breaking down what Africa and stuff was in the world generally in commerce and everything was like
Mm-hmm.
prior to chattel slavery. And
Mm-hmm.
then kind of explaining how and why it was transitioned into chattel slavery and also why the black people, the Africans, were participating in it
Okay.
because the white, the Africans, they were like, okay, yeah, we got slaves, like we do slavery as a social thing.
Right.
But then the white people were like, oh no, this is big
And they
business.
commodified it.
This
Yep.
is, yes, they
Yep.
commodified it and they said, this
Mm-hmm.
is what we want. This is your best and greatest export here. And
Mm.
basically, like, you either a slaver or you're a slave.
Yep.
And when I sit and they were breaking down like the systemic process of breaking people down from human beings into slaves and
Mm-hmm.
like the way they would whip them. And there was this point where they were talking about what are these called, barracoons. These were like houses where they kept the slaves or stored the slaves because they're storing them, they're not, they're
Mm-hmm.
not houses. And it was saying how they would beat them for even looking around. So when we're talking about those things of like, I don't want you being perceptive. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want you recognizing patterns. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was reading that, like I said, I'm the party pooper. I mean, that was already a poop party, but I'm thinking about, yes, and this is exactly what it is with the men because they don't,
Mm-hmm.
they at you for
Yeah.
noticing patterns. They
Yeah.
at you for pointing out inconsistencies. They at you for pointing out abusive behavior before
Mm-hmm.
it becomes full on abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Because these
Yeah.
are the roots of
Yep.
abuse.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And
Yeah.
so that is, and I'm like, and these motherfuckers don't understand that they are just, this is just a micro version of this thing that was done to us on a macro scale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
But they'll sit around and we supposed to be out fighting for black power.
Yeah, but black power means black male power. That's what that means
Yes.
to them.
But
So
even whether you call it out for what it is or not, I'm supposed to be fighting for black power, aka black men, but y'all are doing the same shit. Y'all want to do the same shit to me.
yeah,
These
that like
people did
because
to
that
you.
but that's what that is what they want. You know what I mean? They want to be the ones in power. They don't want to dismantle, like I feel like that is the biggest issue, right? About even
Mhm.
and I mean this is the issue with a lot of people, right? With dismantling these structures. I feel like too many people don't want to dismantle the structure. They want to be powerful in it. Like they want to figure out how to get their turn
Yeah.
instead of actually wanting to dismantle it,
They
right?
want
And
to
it's
get,
like,
mind you, and because I've been watching, and I know, these are white women,
mhm,
but I zoom out into like, what am I looking at? Melinda Gates and what's her name? Abigail Disney.
mhm,
And these are women that just happen to have this massive wealth,
right,
and they're white because America,
right.
right? But I look at how they use their wealth and what they're talking about, and
Mhm.
and what they're talking about doing with this wealth
Yeah.
and being able to make change at that level. So when I was having that conversation before where all the people converged on the channel about Diddy and Russell Simmons, and I'm pointing out, I'm like, what we don't realize is, again, this is from listening to men on the internet and men in real life, and in the same conversation, them saying the same things, they say the same things, never
Mhm.
having met each other. This idea of like Genghis Khan and Hitler and stuff,
Mhm.
how when you have conversations about them at a certain point, they will say, well, basically they had it all figured out,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
even we're talking about, look at what they did, look at the people, all this stuff, and they're
Mhm.
talking about, yeah, but they did it, they did
Yeah,
it.
right, right.
And that, because they are focused on how can I get that level of power.
Correct.
And so then you see those people that are able to touch the hem of power like that,
Mhm.
and they're having all these things come out about them, about how they're utilizing that power, and it's victimization, it's
Mm-hmm.
assault, it's deviancy,
Mm-hmm.
it's all of these horrible things, and it's just like that's all you could think of to do with that
Yeah. I mean,
amidst
it's
all these problems that we're all still crying about. That's all you could think of to do with that.
because I don't know. I just think that it does come from again a lot of people don't actually have issues with the stuff, right? Like they may have a problem with them personally being mistreated or them personally not getting something that they wanted, but I think that the bigger problem is that most people don't have that level of morality. You know what I mean? Where they're like, this thing is just wrong. It doesn't matter if it impacts me or not. It's just a
It
wrong
doesn't
thing.
matter if I can do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but so many people, they don't operate there. They operate in what am I getting out this situation right now? You know what I mean? Like
And
how
what
can this
and
be
what
best for
can
me?
how far can I go without consequences?
Yes.
Or
Yep.
how far can I go where the consequences aren't like deterring me?
Yes. Yes. Like too extreme. Yeah. And again to someone who doesn't think or operate like that, it's just so foreign. You just like,
It's so it's a foreign. It's just like what, and then
you're like, why
I,
are you doing this?
for me, it's like I don't want to have to think like that. You know what I mean? Like it's like okay, well, you can
Listen.
just adapt and learn how to maneuver. No, fuck you. I don't want to do
Yes.
that.
Like that's what I sit and think about with my ex a lot. I just be like, sir, like I just can't, like, how do you not see that you end up with the short end of the stick at the end of the day because of your behavior? Like, where did it get you? Like what did it win you at? Like, you don't see it, but it's like the problem is they never do end up seeing it because they don't allow themselves to, because then they self-victimize, right? Where it's
But
like,
you know what
all
it
this stuff
is?
is happening to me and I haven't done a thing. Like, how dare this stuff happen to me?
You know what it is too? I was watching this thing last night. I found this channel that was about like she was talking about identity.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about how even if you motivate yourself with like affirmations and meditations and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
that if you don't do the work of like recalibrating your identity,
Mm.
that you're going to have to always hustle to keep that
Mm.
motivation up and keep all that stuff up.
That makes
And
sense.
that's so true. Like I talked about it in my book. I was saying like
Mm.
my identity was so messed up that I was doing all those weird things that
Mhm.
I normally in my homeostasis don't even care about. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's
Mhm.
like with these men, it's a realization that like because the main thing they're always talking about is respect slash submission.
Yes. Mhm.
And this idea and human feeling is about feeling powerless and
Yes.
wanting to feel powerful.
Correct.
And these are the ways that power has shown up in the world,
Yes.
through patriarchy.
Mhm.
And they're still thinking patriarchy is the end all be all. So
Yes.
it logically speaking, it makes sense that that is how their brain is set, right?
Mhm.
But it's like, okay, now we have this understanding. Now it's time for y'all to dismantle that and recognize,
Mhm.
but the conversation I was having with the other person, it was like, they don't even see that like that was what was done to them. I'm like, yeah, but having to admit to themselves that, yes, that was what was done to you, that happened to you. You were a victim. You are a victim.
Mhm. Mhm.
All those things. Now they'll be a victim when it's convenient.
Yes.
They'll say, "Oh yeah, we would fight the power and the son, the
Yeah.
man and the man and the man and the matriarchy." All of those things. But it's just like it. Like I said, so many layers, so many threads, so many things going on. Long story short, ladies, there's a lot of things that we personally need our mental and emotional energy and capacity and bandwidth for.
Yes.
We gotta cut them off. We gotta
Yes.
cut off the supply. That's
Yes.
all. We gotta cut the supply off.
I agree with that. I feel like more of these types of conversations need to be had. Like I always think back to, I'm like, man, I wish that we had like the internet in this way and all this when I
It,
was younger. You
I
know what I mean? Like
I wouldn't have my babies, and I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, you know what? I'm glad I had my babies. Like I wouldn't do it over because I want my babies.
mhm.
But if I'd known But
But
I
you could have
found out at
still had
30.
them just a different way, right? You could have like had some in
Yeah,
vitro.
I mean, like, I'm. This is me getting into comic book brain and multiverse.
Yeah,
Like if you
yeah,
when a butterfly flaps its wings,
right.
like, it wouldn't be the same kids. But yes, I could have had children.
Yes.
But I'm like, no, I want my babies I have right now.
I mean, you might as well. I mean, at the end of the day, us being like shoulda, coulda, woulda. I mean, what does that
Right.
mean anyway, right? What is the value in that anyway? But I do think about that, and I'm just like, man, if I had have understood the concept at this level, just imagine the different. Like, where would I be? Like, goodness, because I'd be like, it's such a derailment.
That's literally what like my whole shit. What do you say? My life got flipped, turned upside. Like,
Yes,
off
like
the rail.
and it's just like to what end? And but I guess I am grateful to be here now because and I mean I feel like maybe the temporary part of it is like I can just tell you right now, like I have not seen a man that I've been attracted to in a while. I'd be like I be trying to look at him. I'd be like maybe, and it's just like nah. And I'm like, so maybe it'll come back. I'm not like rooting for it, but I'm happy for it right now because I'm like the environment is just not conducive. Like so
It's
this is
not.
like great.
Stop. Once we get past all this other stuff, we got to deal with the reality of these STD rates and
Girl,
STI rates.
listen, who are you listen, like I say, at 42 years old, that's the part that I cannot understand, especially from men and some women in our age group. I just be like, how y'all out here just
Baby,
playing Russian
I
roulette?
think it get worse in like the old folks' homes and
Yeah,
stuff.
I have heard about that. I heard that, but see, look, but
'Cause
listen,
they think, okay, I won't get pregnant.
but listen. To be fair, 80, 90 years old, you don't even
You
tell
said
no
you had a good run. You had a
right,
good
so
run.
they had a good run. I ain't even gonna, you know what I'm saying? They just gonna get in where they fit in. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna be too mad at them. But I'm just saying, like in our age group, how you out here playing Russian roulette like this? Like that's how I was feeling in the marriage as well, right? I'm like, I don't know what this person out here doing. I'm like, ain't no way
And
I'm
that's
gonna
the
be
thing
in a
too.
marriage
You
with
don't
somebody and I still gotta be on pins and it. That's insane.
listen.
That is
That's
insane.
the
Ain't no way.
thing. You really cannot be off your guard with these
Yes,
people because even in marriage and everything,
it
like you
doesn't
really just
matter.
can't. Now I'll say this because this is something I was doing that work in myself of like, okay, like I'm having feelings, I'm feeling desires, and I don't mean like sexual desire,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
mean
yeah.
like desires for things, and it's like my mind is reaching for things probably just as much to work it out to speak about it on here as it is for me to like experience things, right? But one of the things I was getting clarity about in terms of my own personal experience is like what it is that because I know all the things I don't want. I know all the things that I've already experienced that I didn't like, and I know all the things that I'm putting my good eye out for, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, what would you want? Like if you could have it your way, what would I want out of a relationship, a romantic relationship with a person? And I came down to I want someone who wants to be a safe space. Because I think before I wanted someone who desired me and was desirable. I had
Right.
that in my oldest daughter's father. As an overcorrection, or not an overcorrection, but a correction to that, and like trying to figure out and failing forward when it came to my second daughter's father, I was like, okay, well, I want someone who gets me. And he did. We were friends. You know what I mean? Like, so he got me. But I'm like, no, what's missing is in this environment that we just laid out for the last couple hours of what's going on and the different levels of it and how it's all intertwined and complicated and everything like that, what would be the thing to look for in a male in this environment? And it's a male that is aware of these things and that wants to be a safe space.
I
That
like
like that wants that says, look, I recognize these things are real and I recognize that we are all susceptible to these things. So that includes me.
Mm-hmm.
And that when you come to me and point these things out to me, that I'm at a level of awareness and intentionality that I'm not going to go at you,
Yeah.
that I'm
Yeah.
going to just go,
Take a yep.
my bad, I didn't mean to.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? I have to do that about as a mother.
Yep.
As a
Yep.
mother, I've had to
Mm-hmm.
learn to do that. I've had to
Mm-hmm.
learn to go, I'm so sorry, baby. You just triggered something in me and I acted like a weirdo and I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. I shouldn't have
Mm-hmm.
said that. I shouldn't have reacted that. It can literally be that simple.
Yeah. Yeah, and it could be, but like you say, but then when that ego and that identity tied to that ego, girl, it's a fight for their life.
That's why you got all these people now. They catching on to what's it called? No contact. And
Yeah.
now the people the parents are fighting back. They're like, oh, these kids are on this new wave of no contact. And
What's
what's this
about a new
about it?
wave? They say it's a fad, it's a trend. Like, you are horrible people. Like, why do you think
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's enough to go around, but we still need to be sussing this stuff out in the romantic relationship arena because this is where the babies are coming from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and so if we're going to be having these, we need to. That's why I'm like, we need a safe space. I need a space for the women to be able to come and get that clarity.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
if they choose to go back, like I said, they can go this way, they could go that, they could go the way of I don't want to deal with them no more. They could go the way of I still want to deal with them. But you're going in knowing what you're dealing with and able to be like, yeah, I don't want to hear all that.
Well,
I don't want to hear all that.
I was watching a video earlier about the 4B movement over in South Korea or whatever. And I mean, I had heard about it and looked into it before, so I know what it's about. And I was just wondering, because I think that we do have to dismantle, again, a lot of these structural, it's like the patriarchal thing and like all this stuff before we can even get to a interpersonal situation that's gonna change in any type of dramatic way. And I was just wondering, like, why, like, what is the difference? Like, you have the South Korean movement of those women where they're specifically calling it out and saying, I'm basically on strike from doing these things because of these structural issues. I wonder why we don't necessarily have that level of movement here. I was just curious, like, what, like, because
scarcity mindset, because all the women have to be on the same accord.
Mm-hmm.
The women have to be on the same accord. These women out here are still trying to flex on each other for various different ways. You get what I'm like?
Yeah. Do you think that part of that is also cultural, as far as us as Americans just becoming more and more individualistic? As
I mean,
opposed,
yes, it is. It all of these things, all of this stuff has been baked into
the
where we
fabric.
are in this space and time right now. So yes, it is by design to a certain degree, but it's like being that we're in the information age where we have all this excess. It's kind of like, okay, why are we still doing these things when we have like it'll be some women that'll be talking about
That's
stuff and still.
That's kind of, I guess, the question that I'm asking. Like, even from when I was asking myself before, why can't I get out of this? Why can't I move? And not having the answer for what that was. I guess that's the same way I'm kind of asking that question. Like,
well, what when you say you couldn't move, was it like, were you feeling like you didn't want to, or you just were having trouble trying to create and implement a plan?
It was all of that. It was like I couldn't. It's like I've always been a doer, right? So it's like I come up with something, I'm like, okay, this is the thing I got to execute, it's done, right? I was in a mental space where I was like, I can no longer be here, this is not a good situation for me. But there was nothing, like you said, mentally happening as far as formulating a plan. There was nothing.
You were burnt out. You were burnt out. Your fuse had short circuited. But that is the insidious nature of these systems being so effective that, like I said, it can go from being this macro thing that's just like a power that be, that's just in the ether, and we just talk about it in this broad way, to this is how it shows up in interpersonal and reinforces itself in these interpersonal relationships. So that's what I'm here saying, that women, we have to understand that even if, whether they mean to be or not, These
Mhm.
men are weapons formed against us in this sense. And if they're
Mhm.
showing up in this way, but they're not intentional about being safe spaces, about doing that work of dismantling,
Mhm.
when we recognize that, when they're just playing into it and they're gaslighting you and stuff, you have to be cognizant enough and intentional enough for yourself and whatever children you may have now or in the future to
Mhm.
say, okay, not this one.
Mhm. Yeah.
It can't be him. We can't have a scarcity mindset. We can't be playing into this thing of, oh, well, if I have a man and you don't, we can't. We have to do away with all of that stuff, because the real material reality about this is,
Mhm.
when they're interacting with you like this, you are they're playing and they're doing that stuff. That is the patriarchy at work in your life.
Yes. Yeah. And I guess I'm asking, how do we, like, how do we get, you know what I mean? Like, how do we
Awareness.
get there?
Awareness is the first step.
Mhm.
And for me, as someone, like I said, who came through these spaces in a student of as a student, and like trying to learn and trying to grow and trying to better myself as an individual, I recognize that I feel like people get stuck and we're
Mhm.
just having these same conversations at the same level. So for me, the question I've been kind of asking, seeking, and I'm guessing the space that I need to fill is, okay, what do we do once we recognize men need to be decentered? How do we
Mhm.
do that?
Yeah.
And we do that by focusing on how we're feeling,
Mhm.
what's making the same way you
Mhm.
described your
Mhm.
process, and we basically shared
Yeah.
notes and say, yes, we
Yeah.
went through the same thing of like, okay, something's not right, so we're
Mhm.
noticing something's not right, we're allowing ourselves to categorize it as something not being right.
Mhm.
And then the next step is investigating, okay, what's not right, what is it that's making, what are the
Okay.
components of what's going
Mhm.
on, and the aspects, and how they're making, and how they're affecting me specifically,
Mhm.
and how that affects these other things that are important to me. And
Yeah.
it's about, I used to say it all the time, explore your mind, explore your mind, become
Mm.
where we were saying like, oh, we're male centered, we have to be
Like,
self,
basically, so yes, since yes, okay, I like that. So it's
we have to be
basically
self, and not
like a
self-centered and like, oh,
retraining.
I'm vain
No, no,
and I
no. Yeah,
need to,
yeah,
no, like,
yeah.
so like, what's going on with me, how am I feeling, and what am I wanting, and what's interfering with
I
that.
like that. I like that because I think that that is part of the thing. Again, with how we're socialized the opposite of doing that, which is why we center them so much in the first place. So
Hmm.
it's
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
because
And
they
yeah.
want to it, because going back to, y'all need to go to that museum,
Hmm.
going back to this idea of turning us into chattel. That
Hmm.
was always the plan. They were going to extract every resource out of us. So they want our time and effort and bandwidth and everything, but not for ourselves, not for us to create anything, to
Correct.
build their
To support
creations,
this system.
to support
Yeah.
their creation.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
that's exactly what these niggas is doing to us.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. I like that. I think that that's I think that that's a start. I think that that is important to first retrain your energy, right? And taking it from being outwardly expressed to being more, you know what I'm saying? And showing what that looks like and what that
Yeah.
sounds like and
So
that process.
it
I
and
like that.
self actually, that's why, like, my platform started out, and I remember my friend at the time was like, because when I was trying to push my book is about where it seems to start at for us, of like, okay, I'm a baby mama now,
Mhm.
and now my mindset has changed to this thing, and I'm acting these ways, and I'm doing these things, and what's going on. So from that, I'm like, hey, you need to get him out of here, because he's the
Mhm.
problem, right?
Mhm.
And I was so focused on trying to sell the book that it was like, she was saying decenter men before people were saying decenter men, but she wasn't saying those words. She was basically
Mhm.
saying like, you're making this all about baby fathers, and it's bigger than that, you
Mhm.
know. And I had to realize, like, okay, yeah, it is bigger than that. So I went from being like, oh, we're getting over our baby fathers, to, oh, I can help you improve in the areas of like getting your money up,
Mhm.
personal style, and
Mhm.
your boundaries.
Mhm.
And then from there, it grew to now I'm like, I'm showing you the magic of self actualization, because that's
Yes.
really what it is. You're
Yes.
self actualizing. You're figuring, who am I? Who
Yes.
do I want to be? And what's the distance between those? And how do I get there?
Yep. I like that. No, I really like that. And it's just insane that it's revolutionary to even consider just focusing on things that you like and don't like. Because again, like I said this years ago. Again, it's all the process of like awareness and clarity. But I remember years ago, before I even thoroughly understood this, and having conversations with most women, a lot of times when we are speaking to each other, it still does center like why they are doing things instead of centering how we feel about it and what it's doing to us. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because you're not, if you're not paying attention to, like, you're like, oh, my hair is falling out.
Yes.
But you're not paying attention to, my hair started falling out when he moved in. I started having heartburn and this and that and the other when I started talking to, like, we don't put those things together to go, oh, if I get him out of here, my body and my everything can start healing itself.
I think even when we do put it together, I mean, you could tell me if you've had these experiences just in conversations with friend girls too. It's just like, I think we could even realize that. But again, we have been trained to continue to be like, well, why would he do that? Well, why is he doing this? Well, what is this? And what does this say about me? You know what I'm saying? Instead of being like, well, I don't like that. Like you see what I'm saying? Because the conversations don't censor on,
because we're internalizing it as something we need to fix, as opposed to and yes, it's something we need to fix, but it's something we need to fix with ourselves, and not something we can fix by just eliminating the irritant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if we also, you got to remember, it's that socialization. Well, you're supposed to have a man, and if you remove this man, you don't have a man. And if you don't have a man, well, you better get a man. So now you got to go back out and deal with all that. You get what I'm saying?
There's an underlying thing that you're saying that makes that impetus necessary, because it's like, if I can figure out how to keep this man,
I don't have to do that extra work of trying to find another man and potentially going through all this stuff again when I could have just stayed with him.
That makes sense. So then again, we have to then go back to the foundation and ask ourselves, what are we getting from having these men? And is
like, do I really need a man?
Yeah, like,
do I really need a man? Do I really need a man? Think about, and let's think about this too, because this is the narrative that's being given. If you don't have a man in your home, your kids are not going to be good, productive citizens. So, as a mother, if I want to be a good mother, I need to make sure there's a man around. That's on top of all these things of like, oh, it's going to be easier to pay bills, or he's going to pay the bills, or you know, all those other things,
all the other stuff.
But foundationally, we're talking about your value system and your identity, and I want to be a good mother, because that was the thing for me. Like I said, I never cared about a nigga.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah,
I wanted to be a good mother.
And you know what was even more insidious for me? I think that in my situation, and this is something that I'm just kind of unpacking afterwards, I didn't realize it consciously at the time. But I think for me, it was also feeling the need to be present, to be protective, because understanding that once there's a separation, that person still gets access to the child, and when you're not even there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, which one is better? Like, is it better for me to be around all the time where I can kind of try to be a buffer? Or, you know what I mean? It's like a whole other.
So that's where we start having the conversation. I mean, and you don't know till you know, but that's when we start having those conversations about, okay, how can we now try to strategize to be able to pick these things out in men earlier, so that we can, because it's about comparing notes. We need to be coming together and comparing. We've been comparing notes, but we've been comparing notes about, you see these niggas doing all this stuff and 50-50 and this and that and the other. We need to be comparing notes about, okay, we all as women are coming together to strategize as opposed to holding court, as opposed to dragging niggas. You get what I'm saying? Like the reasons we've been coming together have kind of stalled at what is popular in the algorithm.
Yeah.
We need to start restructuring what's popular in the algorithm, or even not even give a fuck about the algorithm, and say, okay, we need to be having deeper level conversations about what do we actually do.
Yeah,
like we don't need these niggas here to do that.
Yeah.
For real, because they're going to come in and then we're going to be talking about tables and shit.
They gonna hijack and they gonna they're gonna they're gonna derail and they gonna
That's why we're not getting anywhere, because we keep talking to these niggas.
yeah. We're not gonna be like, we can't like that's what I mean. Like we can't even partner with them in the house. Like you think we gonna partner with them? Like they're not being partners. Like so it's so it's like
we just but
we
but,
have
but
to accept
again, because the money that's flowing and the
that.
impressions and the shares and the likes and the growing
Mhm,
of platforms is happening,
mhm,
it looks and feels like progress.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, but it's no, but I mean it always goes like anything when you think about anything as far as when it comes to like entertainment and media, it always ends up going to the most base level of engagement, right? Like you get reality TV, like look at how the news is set up, sensational. Like it always ends up going to the most sensational, most base level, most basic stuff. Like that's where that's where the money heads. So
Yeah,
that's
no, we need to
absolutely
take it
true.
back to the mundane. Like, what does it actually look like and feel like to be in these relationships when they're trying to break you down? That's why I did that little clip explaining about it. It's the thumbnail is Cassie and Diddy.
Okay.
Um, and I was explaining how they always want what's just beyond your boundary. And the
Mm-hmm.
idea is like you're supposed to let them lead you around or whatever, not
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that if you have a boundary right here, there's a reason your boundary is right here, because the thing that you're protecting right here is important to you. But if you're letting him push you past your boundary, well, he did this and a bunch of other shit now.
I like
And
that.
now you're feeling the violation of that, but then they'll tell you, oh, but guess what? I'm still on the other side of your boundary. Why? Because you moved your boundary.
Because you keep moving it. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
No.
like we have to recognize
To,
the
to, to
mechanism.
even interrogate what the boundary is protecting. I like that you just said that. I
Yeah.
think that that's very helpful because again, you can have a boundary, but still not even fully or really integrate what that boundary is
Yeah, you're
protecting.
just like, oh well, I have a boundary, and that's how they
And
get
that's
these
how it
women
keeps
to like,
shifting.
oh well,
Yeah,
we opened up the
correct.
relationship, and
Correct.
she picks the women that
Right.
you get
Right.
what it's
Yeah,
about,
I get
playing
exactly what
with those semantics
you're saying.
and
Yeah.
technicalities.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like you got to learn not to play those games. That's what I'm saying. Like once y'all feel you trying to play them games with me, you got to go, because I'm
Yeah.
not doing that with you, because it'll start on one little thing and next thing I know, like I said, I started here and we're over here.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. But that's that's very helpful. That's amazing. I love this space. And
No, it's what I wanted. It's what I wanted.
I had a really good time talking to you. Let me
Thank
go.
you so much. I had a wonderful time talking to you. Thank you so much for coming up. Like you brought so much to the conversation and to the message that was
I
already
appreciate
here.
that.
Like you being able to say, like, okay, yes, I got married and I
Mhm.
still, you know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yes,
People
girl,
want to know, like, oh,
still.
you're a single mom, you just never been loved, and you never know. Like I did the things.
No, I mean, no. I did it twice. What do you like? I was married to my first son's father. Girl, that's enough. Like marriage ain't never got to worry about me again. Okay,
Enough. Enough.
and look, and I mean that. And people always be like, "You're just saying that now." Like, no, I'm saying that because that is the reality. Like, I don't
Child.
need it. I never needed it when I did it the first 2 times, and now that I've already had the experience, I definitely don't need it now. So,
Girl, listen. People don't understand. I don't. But I was trying to say, "Oh, you might want more kids." No, the hell I don't.
right, exactly. Like
To
not
do
at all.
what?
Yep. So I'm gonna but let me go and be a parent to this child.
Absolutely, that's this
But
beautiful,
I'm gonna
beautiful
keep
girl.
watching, and maybe we can do this again sometime.
Absolutely,
I'm
I'm
back
gonna be here.
around.
I'm going live tomorrow because I'm going to watch, because I just from what I saw, I can see, like I said, those active lessons of this is what this is, and this is how
Mhm.
you deal with that in the way. What's her name? Natalie Nunn was dealing with
Oh,
Cam
yeah,
Newton.
yeah. Okay,
So
okay.
I'm doing that tomorrow.
Okay, yeah,
Do that
yeah, let's do
tomorrow.
it. I'll come check that out. And maybe we can at some point you mentioned something about a watch party. Maybe
Yeah,
we can
I
think
wanted.
about
What
some
you got to
stuff.
offer, Kevin? Yeah, please
Yes,
definitely
I
so.
want to see that. I really want to see that. So just keep me
Oh,
posted on
that's
that.
so. All right. Well, keep your eye open on my community tab too, because I do a lot of announcements and stuff on the community tab
Okay.
for the channel.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Y'all
Thank
ladies have a
you.
good
Have a good
day.
one.
All right. Bye.
I kept Amani, Princess Amani's comment up because I wanted to she said, I disagree. There's nothing we can recognize in these men to decipher their safety. All we can do is learn and establish and hold fast to our boundaries with a swiftness. And I agree with you. It's not, I'm not saying like, oh, we can pass or fail. We can actually figure out if they're safe. What I'm saying is that is one of my standards in terms of I want to see, and it's not a thing of like, because men will be like, oh, what do you want? You'll say I want this, and they'll be like, I have it in spades. No, it's one of those things of like me keeping a mental note to myself of I'm looking for intentionality based off of what this person says, does, how they show up. I want to be able to see intentionality around being a safe person as a male in this society. Like I want to see him actively engaging with trying to figure it out. It doesn't have a perfect look that I can gauge because it's new. You know what I mean? So it's not going to look perfect, but it's more about seeing those wheels turning and seeing him trying and failing and trying and failing, but continuing to try because he is committed to it. Does that make sense? That's what I'm talking about. Amethyst says the patriarchy hijacks your love for your child. It does. It really like because like I said, when I think of all the things that I was putting up with and dragging myself and my oldest daughter through, it was because I thought that's what I had to do to be a good mother and a good citizen and a grown up. You know what I mean? Because I had her at 18. So I basically was a kid. You know what I mean? So I'm growing up with her and I'm trying to, figure out reconcile my ideas about what a grown up is based off of what I've seen. Okay, grown ups get a job and grown ups get a place and grown ups get married and you get what I'm saying? Like all of those things. And the desire to be a good mother. Yep. So this was so nice. This was so nice. I did announcements and everything, right? But just one more time before we go, I'm gonna go ahead and like clear all the. Oh, I never even did an intro or nothing. It's fine. It's fine. This was just like an impromptu thing. Either like I don't even have a thumbnail. I don't know if I'm gonna make a thumbnail either. But I want to thank you all for coming. This was amazing. I want to thank Cannon for coming up. That was an amazing conversation. Like, thank you so much for your contribution to the conversation and like helping me to be able to like broaden it because I can only go so far when I'm up here talking about myself. So I very much so appreciate your help with that and helping me expand the conversation. I want to thank all of you guys for coming and being with me. It's so exciting that you're still here and we're growing. We are growing. We're at like 640 something people. So that's amazing. Yeah, I got so much here. I have so much. I prepared so much like in terms of content plans and stuff like that. So I'm just going to be plugging away at finding a system and staying consistent and everything like that. But I just thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, remember also, you know what? Can I can. My channel. Am I going to be able to see it as a person? Not a person, but you know what I mean, as a as not me. Playlist, post, videos, manage video, community. I'm trying to see how I could show y'all. So I've been monetized. Thank you. I've been monetized. Oh, this is just Hilltop Preborn Nursery. So that's she sells what are they called? The realistic looking babies. So that's her. Let's check her out. I've been monetized. So what that means is there are memberships. You can subscribe like to my channel and be a member. I think so. I can't because I'm me, but you know what I mean. Let me check it out on my. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to YouTube, one of my other YouTubes on my phone, and see if I can see it from there, because that would make sense. Switch account. Pop, pop, pop. Okay. And then I'm going to search for me. Here I am. Here I am. How do you do? Okay. So it says subscribe. Where's the memberships? I don't know. I'll figure it out. But it told me that I am monetized. So maybe I'm still figuring all that stuff out. I don't know. But there will be membership before the week is over. There will be memberships and stuff. And we should be able to do super chats and things or whatever if you want to support the channel that way. But I always have what's this called? I always have the Cash App. So that's always a thing. That's going to be up. That's going to be there. And I also have my books. I talked about my books here. So it's my paperback and my ebook. So there's that. But yeah, different ways to support the channel. Big things are gone. Yeah. Thank you so much. I will see you all later. I'm going to go and finish our stew and relax. And then I will see y'all tomorrow. I'm aiming for around 6. We're going to watch Natalie Nunn drag Nigga by a Crane. All right. I will see you later.